So you thought about me in that way, and I thought about you. So the way I see it, we have two choices now. We can either go in the bedroom there, knock one out, and settle this once and for all. Or we can just pretend this never happened and, you know, play Scrabble or something.
Stay, nobody's gonna change, you won't ever leave. On my mind again, I'm still not tired of it. Can make you want me, and I might act okay, say things will stay the same, say them all I
Oh. Diddly dee 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 Scrabble, excellent, all right. Texaco Oil, reeling from the public outcry over racist remarks made by some of its top executives at a tape-recorded meeting, today announced a dramatic change in company policy. No more tape-recorded meetings. 4 Wisconsin men have been charged with felony hate crimes after burning a man's buggy simply because he was Amish. If convicted, the men face up to 25 years in prison. But furious Amish leaders say that is not enough. They want the dunking wheel. In the course of his summation, Cochran also brought up Detective Mark Furman, calling him a, quote, genocidal racist, and comparing him to Adolf Hitler. Furman later responded, "After all the things he said about me during this trial, it's a little late to start sucking up now." Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan has accused the National Park System of racism, claiming the agency deliberately undercounted the number of participants at his Million Man March. A spokesman for the Park Service denies the charge, saying, quote, "Our estimate is based on state-of-the-art aerial photography. We stand by our number. Heil Hitler." Last week, as Pat Buchanan announced his decision to run for president, several people jumped on stage chanting, "Buchanan is a racist." As security began to wrestle them from the stage, Buchanan stopped them and said, "Let them continue. That's my slogan."
Now, what do you think about this dog, the bounty hunter? Have you been following that at all, Norm?
Oh, that guy, I mean, to me that sounds racist. But like you gotta remember that even though that is a racist comment, listen, man, we've all known bounty hunters in our time, you know, and they have that thing like curse like a sailor. Well, that could go for bounty hunters just as well. They just chose sailor. Those guys. I mean, they're not like you or me, you know?
No, they're bounty hunters.
If you choose that as your career, you know, you're a bounty hunter. Listen, some salty language is not going to be as... You may as well just be a longshoreman. No, there's nothing worse than bounty hunting.
Norm, you're a genius. All right, we got a couple minutes left. Anything else you want to lay on the listeners before we leave today?
That was funny, that bounty hunting thing. Seems like he's going to get a pass on it, right?
I don't think so, Norm. I think he's in trouble.
Are his bounty hunting days over?
Where does he go from there?
We can't keep you on. I'm sorry, but, you know, you have to... You know, you have a public image of hunting down criminals in their hotel rooms, diving at them in the middle of the night and beating them up. We can't have you saying racist things on the television. I don't know.
All right, Norm. I'm going to put some oxygen on my face here and recover. You're going to be on every Friday now?
Yeah, that'll be fun, right?
Oh, are you kidding me?
I'll be like your Pete Barbuti.
No, stop. Chuck Mangione references too far behind.
Yeah.
Thank you, Storm and Norman. We'll talk at you down the road. This is the Dennis Miller Show.
Having less money or having or not having less money is not a product of your nature. It's that you don't have the money because the white people don't give you the money.
It's actually supportive of black people to say that, actually.
707
Of course
says...
I'm supportive of black people. I'm in
Wow.
a room of
You're saying
racists.
that to have justice,
Oh,
we should
my
all
God.
have equal,
The 415. Do you want to keep him for the next segment? At this point, I'm not sure. I'm finding Norm to be somewhat on the offensive side.
You know what, though? I love that he's saying all this stuff and then looks over with a big smile.
I know,
and
big smile. He's like, oh, man, they're going to talk about this all day.
Well, I didn't know that everyone. I thought San Francisco was a little more open than.
No, San Francisco actually
They're racist?
isn't. No, they're not racist.
Well, you gained a lot of weight, so did you.
so
I
does this
gained
guy.
45 pounds.
I was going to say something, actually.
Why?
Well, I thought you'd been gaining some weight.
Yeah, I gained 45 pounds.
Why?
Are you okay? Yeah, what's going on?
No, I am. I'm going to lose it though.
Yeah, it's the heaviest I've ever seen.
And since I've gained it, I sweat like a
yeah, you're sweating
noticed,
like
yeah.
a whore in church. I don't mean to be
What?
I don't mean to be filthy,
a
but
whore in church.
yeah, she's nervous, so she sweats because
Sweating like a Chris Dorner in a Big Bear cabin.
Okay, come on.
Well, I'm just.
That's racist.
Are you familiar with the Tinder app?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. So I'm on there.
God, look at you.
Huh?
I like
The
when he goes,
body
are you
language.
familiar with the Tinder app? It's like Ted Levine.
Everybody says it. I do. I sound a lot like Buffalo Bill.
Your name is?
Oh, Jack Gordon.
Mr. Gordon. Good. Well, Frederica used to work for Mrs. Lippman. Did you know her?
No, Oh, wait. Was she a great big fat person?
I'm on there. I match with this one girl. She's like young and very attractive.
I'm a 4 too.
We start talking. She's texting me at like 4 a.m. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? She's like, oh, I'm bored and I wish I had some weed. You want to come over? And I'm like,
Shit.
yeah, sure. And she's sending pictures of her. Oh, maybe we'll have fun. And I'm like, and so at this point,
What were the pictures?
It was like her bent over with no, clothes on and stuff. And I'm like, but at this point, my cock's making the decisions. Anyway.
Tell me.
And so I call my friend, and then she's like, yeah, just can you bring a C note? Well, I have a roommate that sells
$100 bill.
a $100 bill, and we'll go get some weed, and you can come. And I'm like, yeah, am I getting mugged? I call my friend. He said, put the phone number into Facebook, and you can see who the person is.
the fuck up.
Yeah, so I put the phone number into Facebook, and the profile comes up. It's this black guy in a ski mask in all the pictures.
It doesn't
And I'm
matter
like,
what
holy
race he
shit.
was.
So yeah.
As a matter of fact, I don't know how he knew he was black. He was wearing a ski mask.
Well, you can tell. So I head over there. No, I know. You can tell.
I know.
No,
I've never heard his view on African Americans until this very show. That's interesting that you got that out of him.
Plenty of
By the way,
black
Donald.
friends.
Plenty
Dated
of
a
black friends.
Dated a black woman for months. No, I'm not a racist.
If you're a racist,
Oh, yes.
it's not illegal, but you can't work.
If you're a racist, you can't
Well,
work.
Donald Sterling, for instance.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think there's any
Well, he
correlation?
He doesn't have to work.
No, he doesn't.
$10 billion.
No, but a serious question, though.
Yes.
If a man has a job
Yes.
and he is a racist,
Yes.
should the job be taken away from him?
No.
Okay.
But his fellows should. His fellows.
Good news for him.
Yeah.
Not a racist.
Here's actually a joke about Donald Sterling.
Oh, good. All the charities that Donald Sterling donated millions of dollars to are giving the money back to him. Well, that'll show him. It's not bad.
Two businessmen bought the Milwaukee Bucks for $550 million. They are very excited with their purchase, as this is the only legal way to own black people. Now that is here, and I read that.
Well, you're not there. You know how businessmen are racist?
They are.
Yes, it's them being racist.
They
not
are.
You.
The two businessmen that bought the Milwaukee Bucks for $550 million
Yeah.
are racist,
Oh,
according
no, they're
to this.
fine, man.
Do you have any other color jokes? I mean, he's just blue and yellow.
Did you just say, do I have any other colored jokes?
I knew you were going to say that.
Fucking Jimmy the Greek over here. I don't want to.
Jimmy the Greek.
How about Jimmy the Greek gets kicked out for being a racist? Meanwhile, they call him the Greek. TV. Jim's.
This is what you said their neighbor was? Jim Ping?
That is my neighbor. A nice fella.
Nice guy?
Let me his abacus
I want to do
yesterday.
this.
Jesus.
Oh, come on. That's not a Chinese guy.
I wasn't saying it was.
That was kind of
What are you,
racist.
Mickey Rooney?
Hey, come on.
I know he's dead,
Have
but
a little
Mickey Rooney
respect.
did a very racist thing like you just did in a movie called Breakfast at Tiffany's by the wonderful Truman Capote.
I wasn't doing anything racist, and you know it. But go ahead.
If you don't stop with that pornographer right this minute, I'm going to go to the police department.
You know what I read today?
Yeah,
in the
what?
Inquirer, that
What?
Michael Richards was attacked at that pink yogurt place.
Oh, he was attacked?
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing that's sort of scary is, first of all, Mel Gibson has a career that he could hurt. Michael Richards doesn't really.
Wait a minute, Norm. I believe Super Dave was going to tell a joke there. I'm kind of.
I'm sorry. I thought it was really
No. Well, it seeed to me that he was going to say something because he wasn't being serious. And then you said some. Super Dave, was there a joke there?
No, Norm. No. I was telling the truth.
Okay.
That I read where he got these punk kids ran at him and slammed his car and everything, tried to turn it over, and he ran away.
Right.
Yeah, because I'd be very frightened because, like Mel Gibson, if you make fun of Jewish people, then it's not like you're in danger. But
What?
If you're driving
What did you
around,
you heard him.
Uh-oh. Hey, here's the thing, and I'm going to say it again.
Here's a very funny thing that happened. Marlon Brando, remember, said that Hollywood ran, the Jewish people ran Hollywood.
That's right.
Yeah, but Marlon Brando.
And then he had to apologize.
Marlon Brando
and then they let him work.
Say anything. Marlon Brando lived.
We're listening to Norm MacDonald and Super Dave argue about
Marlon
the
Brando
Jews.
lived behind a cardboard cutout.
What?
He lived behind a cardboard cutout. He was 900 pounds, so he could basically say anything.
No, but don't you think Michael Richards would be kind of in peril? And
Well, but I don't think he had a career.
no, I'm saying just physically.
Hey, did you cut us off?
I didn't.
Are we just talking?
Yeah, you guys.
We're not even on the radio.
You haven't been on for the last hour, but it's great.
So great. I haven't talked to Norm in about 3 weeks.
Jonathan, don't you think
have
that Michael Richards may have his life sort of in danger?
Yes.
No, I would move to either Tucson or Idaho.
Yeah, or Wisconsin.
Why, is Wisconsin good too?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You mean like just a shack in the woods or something?
Or Boston. He could move to Boston.
Yeah.
Stay hard. Wait a second.
No, wait.
You know the joke about B.B. King's wife?
No.
You don't?
No, I don't think so.
B.B.'s having a birthday, so she wants to surprise him, so she goes to the tattoo parlor. She says, put a B on one cheek and a B on the other. So the guy does it. She goes home. B.B. comes home. She opens the door, bends over, drops her shorts, and says, surprise! He said, who's Bob?
Oh, that's racist.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. The one and only Super Dave Osborne and his joke about
Yeah, sell that to Michael Richards, man.
Why,
Wow.
that's not a racist joke.
Yeah, sure it isn't.
Who's Bob?
Yeah, you know, that's the way you want to broadcasting in stereotypes. 97.9
I'll tell you what,
FM.
let's do it this way.
Yeah.
Bob Hope's wife goes to a tattoo parlor.
No, but you chose an African American.
Well, the Bob Hope is dead.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And she says, put a B on one cheek and a B on the other. She comes home. Bob Hope comes home. She bends over, pulls her pants down, and he faints.
Now, Bob Hope is dead.
Yeah, I know.
Bring me the body of the great Bob Hope. If he struggles a lot, tie him up with a rope. If he smells a bit, wash him down with soap. Just bring me the body of the great Bob Hope.
Bring Me the Body of the Great Bob Hope, another song by Super Dave Osborne and Norm MacDonald. They've collaborated together on a great new CD, Music from Dead People. Want to hear
Guy
something?
comes home with a duck under his arm.
Oh, shut
Wife
up.
opens the door.
Yeah.
She says, where the hell have you been? He says, this is the pig I've been screwing. She said, it's not a pig, it's a duck. He said, I'm not talking to you.
All right, that's enough. That's enough. Super Dave, Norm MacDonald. You know,
Why did you make her African American in that joke?
yeah, why did you say? You heard it because you're racist. He said you're racist. He said, why didn't you make it an African American in your joke? That's what you like to do, don't you? Super Dave.
Hey, don't you feel sorry for Michael Richards, really, though?
All right, goodbye.
If you were Michael Richards and you were in that situation and you you said those things, what would you have done next?
Well, I think what he did was panic and start pretending it was Lenny Bruce. Like, you know, because he said that word and everything, and then he said, that word, it still has power.
Oh, he did?
Yes, he did this.
But no, I mean after the incident itself.
Oh, I would move to Idaho. Ketchum, Idaho.
Okay.
The only people nowadays can afford live-in help are rich people and Jews.
Not all Jewish people are rich.
I never knew one that wasn't.
Do you know that in many countries, England, for instance, there is a law that says whatever two consenting adults do in private is their own business?
Listen, this ain't England. We threw England out of here a long time ago. We don't want no more part of England. And for your information, England is a fag country.
What?
I think that, if God had meant us to be together, he'd have put us together. Well, look what he's done. He put you over in Africa. He put the rest of us in all the white countries.
I think most of the audience was laughing with Archie Bunker. Of course. A lot of people were laughing with Rob Reiner, you know, the liberals and the conservatives. Yeah, Archie, you tell them.
Well, I think if you were neutral, you would agree with Archie because he was the funnier guy, the lovable guy, and he usually won the argument.
Yeah, and Rob had the beard.
And he was strident.
Yes.
Or maybe we're just racist. And we're going to read jokes. We read jokes.
I thought you were going to talk about this thing.
We're going to talk about the man. What about the man great?
Is that like a genital cleanser?
No! No, my God. What is the man great, you ask?
Okay.
Huh?
Fine, I didn't, but...
You didn't ask. It is 100% made in America. Cast iron grilling grates.
Iron. You don't pronounce it iron.
That's what everybody tells me.
It's the iron horse, like Lou Gehrig was the iron horse of baseball.
Yes.
The word I-R-O-N is iron. No, iron.
Cast iron.
Iron?
Cast iron grilling grates that are
kidding when you say iron?
You know what? Don't be like fucking Larry King. That motherfucker, I say iron and he's up my asshole for fucking 4 days.
It should be iron. That's what makes English the world's toughest language.
Yeah?
You know, right? Sure.
It is the
Because
toughest language. To me,
learn.
it's the easiest. Man great. Great. Have you heard of the man great?
Yes, I have.
You have?
Yeah.
Where'd you hear about it?
On Adam Carolla's podcast.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that? Do you have a father? Man great is the perfect gift for this Father's Day. Is he alive?
Yeah.
Yeah. 100% made in America. If he was dead, it would have been a really bad moment in the commercial. Your dad's alive?
No.
Fuck. God damn it. I'm sorry about your dad.
That's fine.
Your father's dead. But you have children. You are a father.
Yes, and I'm not dead.
Yes.
Maybe you'll give me one. And
I'll give you one. Is your mom still alive?
My mom?
Yeah.
No, she's dead.
Jesus Christ, is any of your relatives fucking alive? It's man great. They're revolutionizing the way people grill. What, Adam Egan? It's true. You haven't heard of the revolution? You can put chicken on this or steak. That's not that unique. It has heavy duty grilling grates. Why are you laughing? You think the grilling grates are flimsy?
These are very heavy.
Yes, no, but that's part of the charm. It weighs a lot of pounds.
Is that heavy?
Yeah. Listen, man, what was that fucking Vegas story?
Jesus Christ. Sorry. What is in that?
Again. It's revolutionizing the way people grill.
Jesus.
What?
I thought it was like a. All right.
You want to hear what it has?
Yeah.
It has heavy-duty grilling grates. Listen. No more dry meat. What do you think of that?
Good. You want your meat juicy.
Oh, come on now. Don't make it sound like a fucking fat, plumpy, delicious cock. No more flare-ups? You know, in your barbecues, all those big flare-ups? It was named one of 2012's best grilling accessories. There's more fucking facts about the man grate than about Nick. Why are you laughing? You're making a mockery out of the man grate. Chicken, steak, has never tasted so good. Hey, how about this? Each NORM MACDONALD show order comes with a heavy-duty grilling brush.
Jesus.
You don't want to put that on your not dry meat.
Look at that. Those things are dirty.
No.
That's from the iron.
Are you sure?
Yes. Well, it's not from my cock.
What?
I just went to the bathroom. You say cock so much.
I'm coming in your butt.
Oh my God. Well, listen, man. Hey,
your mouth is my toilet.
Again. This commercial is like a mini-series. Are you a jingoist? 100% made in America. 100% cast iron. Mangrate.com. Thank you, Andy. That's yours. You just threw your own going away present with contempt to the floor. That was our only sponsor.
Oh, yeah, and you lost.
Yeah, now we found out we lost Mangrate as a sponsor. And then earlier today, I think we were told legally we can't say we lost them as a sponsor even.
Yeah, I think we were still waiting to find out if we were allowed to say that.
But anyways, that was Schwartz.
We lost them.
That was Nick Schwartzen that fucked it all up.
I was at a party with a friend, and so I noticed you first. And you returned my gaze, knew how to quench my thirst. You took me to that room like a dream come true. The dance you performed was just for me and you. Kisses on the neck, then you work your way down. Let yourself go for me all around town. Seduct so good.
One of your lesser known, but one of my favorite things you've ever done is a commercial you did for the Man Grate.
God. That's an online only thing, don't you think?
It's got like 100,000, maybe a couple of million views. And I just want to know, did they ever come around to your interpretation of their ad and their product?
No, well, what he's referring to is I have this podcast that, I do this podcast, I don't make any money out of it. And then they're like, do this commercial. I'm like, fuck, I don't even make any money. And so there was this goddamn thing called a Man Grate. And it weighed like 100 pounds. It was supposed to be some sort of cooking device for steak. And I had to read all this thing. And I couldn't even lift it. And I was like sweating profusely. And talking about what it was. And then, I don't know.
It gets very colorful.
Like what?
It gets very colorful.
It gets very colorful. Yeah, and I'm not going to say what I said here in a house of worship. But no, they never came around to seeing the...
that sponsorship ended.
That sponsorship ended without amicability.
I see OJ's in the news again this week. What about Norm's series of OJ jokes?
Oh, yeah. Now in this cancel culture and everything, I have to say, I no longer take that position with O.J. Simpson. He was found not guilty by a jury of his peers. I accept that. I see him as the greatest rusher in the... That's all he's guilty of to me, is the greatest rusher in the history of the NFL. Yep. Maybe I was the greatest rusher to judgment.
All that for that?
I've rethought O.J. Simpson. And I think now the only thing he's guilty of is being the best running back that ever lived.
Seriously?
Yes.
The best running...
And also, here's the problem with O.J. is that he went to prison for stealing his own sports memorabilia, and he got 35 consecutive life sentences, which is not good. And then that puts him very low on the pecking order. If you know anything about the pecking order in prison. And so he's in there, he's like, hey, I killed my wife, I killed a guy and a waiter and my wife. And they're like, nah, we still have the trial.
Yeah, he's doing hard time now for sure.
Yeah. And a guy who's guilty of double homicide, very high on the pecking order. The guy that stole his own jersey is very low.
So did you hear about Aaron Hernandez today? Got indicted for 2 more murders.
For 2 more murders?
Yeah, bringing the count to 3.
Good Lord, that's just murdering for murder's sake at that point.
Who do you think is worse, him or O.J. Simpson?
Well, O.J. Simpson, I think all he did was steal sports memorabilia. Now, Aaron Hernandez, who's worse? Well, I think the worst guy of all is Oscar Pistorius.
A video of him. Do we have that video? They can show it. He's on Twitter now.
Lamar Jackson, you're incredible. I mean, you got 4 games ago, you already got 1,000 yards. But 49ers, you have got nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah, OJ!
What? Was he taking a break from looking for the real killer? He's taking 5?
I'll tell you, man. First of all, he just got into the All-Defensive Hall of Fame. I don't know if you...
Oh, the top 100.
Oh, offense.
Top 10.
Oh, good for him.
And, he's fantastic. He's paid his debt to society, and I think he's a hell of a guy.
Oh, I didn't know you knew his new PR guy.
There's Norm. If you tell him to do an OJ joke, he won't do that either.
Yeah.
Guys, what's up, man? Hi. Yeah, man, it's live. It's Saturday night. You guys have a bunch of twinkly things. They didn't tell me everything before I got out here. They didn't tell me that there'd be twinkling things. But I can deal with it. But no, listen. I was. It harkened me back listening to the beautiful speaking, like, you know, because I remember that. You know, it's 8 o'clock. And do you know where your children's at and stuff? And it harkened back to me because a half hour earlier, I was saying the same thing. I was in the restaurant. I was like, 7:30, man. Anybody know where my pork chop is? You ever try to get a pork chop at this joint? I mean, you guys like pork? You don't like pork? Call yourself Americans? No, listen. I'll tell you something about this restaurant. I don't know about in here if you get special stuff, but where I was eating, I asked for a Coca-Cola because that's my favorite drink, you know. I go, hey, man, can I have a Coca-Cola? And they say, we don't got that. We got Pepsi-Cola. I was like, oh. And this is a new thing that's happening, I've noticed, across the country. I'd like to get to the bottom of it because Coca-Cola is a delicious drink. And oftentimes, you go to a town, you go, hey, man, where do I go to get a Coke? And they're like, yeah, not here, fella. You know? They have their towns that Pepsi has somehow, even though Coke, and people, see, they think in their minds, they think that if your favorite drink in the entire world is Coca-Cola, then your second favorite drink will be Pepsi-Cola, which is flawed reasoning. Actually, if your first favorite drink is Coca-Cola, your least favorite drink is Pepsi-Cola. That's how it works. And you can tell they're kind of ashamed. You got a Coke? They're like, nah, Pepsi. They give you a lot of that. Is that okay? So you go, no, I don't want that. What else you got? You got any other soda? And then when they got the Pepsi, they always have these weird other sodas. They go, oh, yeah, we got different. We got, you like root beer? We got that. And you're like, well, I'm not 8. I don't know. We got Diet Pepsi. What are you even asking me that? I just said. We got Sierra Mist. Oh, I'm glad, man. I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to ask, but I didn't dare, because every time I go, they don't have it. But that's my favorite drink. You go to a restaurant, you go, hey, here's the whitefish. What do you want with that? Got any Sierra Mist? Give me that. What? No Sierra Mist. What kind of hen house horse shit is this? Trying to run a joint here? What kind of business? Honey, get your coat. I'll get the car. I'll bring the car around. You get your coat. No, Sierra Mist. Can you believe these characters? Kind of a. But no, I had a pork. I had a nice, delicious piece of pork, a pork chop, Pork, I don't know. I don't think it's that good for you, but I like it. I'm pretty sure it's not good for you because it's a pig. But I like it. Anything with a snout, I don't think you're supposed to eat. I think that may be in the scriptures. I'm not sure, but I recall something about that. My doctor has me on a snoutless diet right now. He says I got to exercise every day, aerobics and latissimus dorsi, all that shit, get my back and everything, and then no snouts. But no, my friend, let me tell you something. My friend, who is a vegetarian, she's a girl, like all vegetarians are, and you don't mean a lot of dudes, But anyway, she was talking to me about the vegetarianism stuff, right? Now, have you ever had this experience where you think something's right your whole life, and then in a moment, in a flash, you realize you've been wrong about everything you've ever believed ever. Not everything, but that one thing. By the way, if you ever wake up and you realize you've been wrong about everything in your entire life, that's not a good day then. You may as well go down to the rope store and buy yourself a length of rope. Then go down to the stool store, get yourself a nice stool. Then you go over to the notepad store, you buy yourself a notepad. Then you get a pen. You only really need 4 things. Must be hard to write those notes. What am I supposed to write it on this little thing? Everything that drove me to end my life? I don't know where to start. But anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, pork. No, because my friend who's a vegetarian, this girl, she was telling me, we always argue because she's a vegetarian and I am not a vegetarian, and so she has her opinions and I have my opinions, and I realized that her opinions are actually stronger than my opinions. Like she'll say to me, she goes, "You can't eat, animals because they're God's creatures too." You know what I mean? And you shouldn't destroy another creature of our great God just so that you could have a frivolous meal that would not be necessary. You can't extinguish the life of And then I go, I like pork. That's my opinion. So that's not a good argument at all. So anyways, the upshot of it is that people can change, thank God, through the glory of God, people can come to changes in life. And I am now a vegetarian, so that's nice, Thank you very much. I'm not a strict vegetarian. I eat meat, but I am a vegetarian, but not a strict one. I only eat meat. You know what I don't like is vegetables. I can't eat those. I can't stand eating vegetables. So in the strictest term, strictest use of the word, strict, I'm not a strict vegetarian. But you know what she does, my friend that is a vegetarian? She makes this thing every Thanksgiving. I don't know if you've ever eaten this. It's called a tofurkey. Tofu. It's an unwieldy word. No one likes to hear it. But it's a turkey, but it's not really a turkey, you know? It sounds like a turkey because it's got a lot of the same letters. But what they do is they take tofu, you see, and then they fashion it into the countenance of a turkey, you know? Which doesn't fool me. And also, I don't understand why she does it on account of she's making it into the thing that she doesn't want to eat in the first place. You know, that seems... I would not do that, you know. Like I'm against cannibalism, you know. As you all know, as any of you know that follow me on the Google space, WW, I have gone across this country with my anti-cannibal stance, you know, talking to people from one side of this great nation to the other. Every year I put my toe in the Pacific and I travel this great land with my anti-cannibal message, you know? Mostly the young people. I try to educate the young people. You know, I go to the schools and I go, listen, you might think that you're going to be the cool guy because you eat a dude friend of yours, you know? And maybe you will for a couple of years, you know? Maybe you'll be the big man on campus. Oh, that's Jim. He ate a fella. But there's more to it than that. No, I use my time for you know what I do? I do a lot of charity work for things that people, I don't like arguing with people, you know, where they have another opinion than me. So what I do is I pick very popular opinions and then I work for those people. Like, for instance, there was, you know the landmine big thing? Princess Diana, one of the greatest people who ever lived, she was against landmines. So tragically, she died, you know, before her landmine crusade really got rolling, you know. And of course, it was a terrible tragedy and everything like that. And then she died. And hey, how about this? Remember when she died and then Elton John wrote that song for her, but it was the same song that he wrote for Marilyn Monroe? It seems like kind of a jip. But the king's like, hey, man, you wrote a song for my daughter? I don't know if there's a king. You wrote a song for Princess Diana? Yes. Well, you all ready? She just died an hour ago. Yeah, I wrote it. I wrote it. And here it is. She lived her life like a candle in the wind. Wait a minute. It sounds like that song you wrote about Marilyn Monroe. Well, it's a little bit. Some of the same words. Why'd you do that? Because they're similar when you think about it. Come on. Marilyn Monroe, she was taking crazy drugs and promiscuous, running around. Man, you know, you never knew if she was going to live or die. She's just living her life crazy like a candle in the wind, you know. And Princess Di, she lived in a castle. But, you know, they're sort of the same. They were blonde. I got to go. But anyways, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, that I am very against landmines. So I will go and I will make, I'll go to protests, and I'll have a big sign that says, no more landmines. Because if you don't know about landmines, hey, you're educating me about stuff tonight. I'll educate you a little about landmines, because there's many different causes, And landmines are terrible. What they are is they put them underneath the earth, and then you step on them, and they blow you up. So I go there, and I protest against them. And what's fun about it is there's very few counter-protesters. There's a couple of guys out there, but clearly these guys are in the pocket of the, big landmine companies in this country. I don't mean to get all Bill Maher on you or anything, but if you think that the landmine companies in this country care about you, the little person, they don't care about you. They care about blowing you up when you're not expecting it. That's how they make their money. No. But, no, I was going to say about, she makes this tofu. Now, what I was going to say was that as a anti-cannibal guy, it would never occur to me to do the same thing as she does with her tofurkey. I would not take all my delicious cheese sandwiches and fashion them into the shape of some old rotting corpse of some dude and then eat that. That would make it less tasty than the cheese sandwich itself, to me. But listen, it's easy to go around saying, hey, I'm against cannibalism. Oh, I'm anti-cannibalism. Look at me. I'm better than everybody else, I know it's easy to say because I say it every day to people. But actually, when you think about it, you don't really know how you're going to, how your cannibalism beliefs are going to stand up under when it comes up. Because you'll notice in life, cannibalism rarely comes up. There's always some cheese sandwiches around you can find, But what about when you're in the Andes? Well, then all bets are off. You have to wrestle with your conscience because you're in the Andes. I don't even know why people go to the Andes, but they do. They go, hey, listen, travel agent, me and the wife, Ruth, Ruth, we're going, we got to get away from the kids again this year. We got to go to Ireland. We were hoping something on the other side of the Andes. Anything you got there? We just want to relax, lay on a hammock or something, and we want to go to a nice place that is separated from where we are now by the Andes. And got any small planes? We like flying in small aerofoils. In the dead of winter. You got anything like that? And they're like, yeah. So you get on the plane, and 20 minutes later you crash into a mountain, because everyone knows it's on the boarding pass. It says, layover, a mountain. So you crash into the mountain, and then, you gotta wrestle with your conscience, because, you're down there, and the guy in 24E is looking pretty delicious. And so days turn into weeks, and weeks turn into months. Months, you know how time works, right? I don't have to explain everything. Then becomes now. So and then you have to wrestle with your conscience because you're like, my conscience. And your conscience is very, if you don't want to wrestle with your conscience because, So, although it's not as hard as wrestling with an actual wrestler. High five. If you have your choice between wrestling with your conscience and wrestling with a professionally trained wrestler, I'd take the conscience because it doesn't even have arms. And for wrestling, like the headlock is the biggest move. If you don't have arms. So anyways, you're wrestling with your conscience and you're like, oh man, should I eat that guy in 24E? I don't know. He looks pretty good, but I don't think it's right and all this stuff. And then time goes on and you get, and instead of just acting right away, which would probably be the smarter thing, you know, you wait way too long and months pass and then you go crazy and then you go after Frank, that's his name, in 24E, and you're just, you're so hungry now, you're tearing into him, you're like, Frank, blood all over you and everything, you know? Anyways, and that's the last, and this is what you don't want to happen at that point, is for the rescue plane to come over at that very moment, you know? Well, you're like, what the? They're like, we have hamburgers and hot dogs here in the plane, and delicious cheese sandwiches, everything you want here. You're like, what? A lot of snow. Oh, Lord God. Let me get a drink of this water. You like water? It's better than that Pepsi shit. Ow. Water's good for you. What about guys? You ever just have guys that have their favorite water? They're like, Fiji, that's what I drink. Water, Fiji water. It's the most tasteless, colorless water of all. This one has 0 fat, like I'm a retard. Like I wouldn't be able to detect globules of fat in my water. It's cyanide free. No, but listen, man. I'm not afraid of no monsters, you know. You know, when you think about it, man, we spend most of our adult life petrified of monsters, you know? And I'm just I'm saying enough, man. You know? I'm not gonna live under the tyranny of these monsters that walk among us, you know? If they get me, they get me. And some of them I don't even know what's so scary about them. Like now they got a movie I seen, Wolfman, you know, which is very scary, right? A Wolfman, you know, they got a movie, and it's like a werewolf. I think it's exactly the same. I'm not sure. I haven't studied it close enough. But I believe, like, if a Wolfman came at you and stuff, you went, werewolf, people wouldn't go, it's a Wolfman, you idiot. But my point is this. I am not afraid of a wolfman or a werewolf because when you think about what they are, they're half man and half wolf. So therefore, I am only half afraid of them as I am of a wolf. And there's no movie called The Wolf. See, if you got a wolf man, half the time he's a man. You can reason with him. Yeah? You can sit down and have a cheese sandwich. But a wolf, man, you can't reason with a wolf. A wolf only wants to eat you. So I'm not afraid of a werewolf. I'm not afraid of ghosts. They don't scare me, you know? Not at all. I mean, I don't want to say I'm invulnerable to fear, but they simply don't frighten me. You know? First of all, what do? You know? They just go, which that's not that scary to me. Yeah? And then they're invisible. They're like, and you're like, what? You're invisible. You can put your hand through them. That kind of a person never frightens me. You know the kind of guys that frighten me? You ever meet those guys where you can't put your hand through them? I don't care for those fellas. But when I can put my hand through them, doesn't scare me in the least. This is how unscary they are. I was at a hotel a couple of weeks ago. In the lobby, they were saying they were bragging about there was a ghost in the hotel. You know, how scary can that be? You know what I mean? They're like, oh, every night, Mary with the blue dress. That was her nickname. She was murdered, and she hangs around the bed. You know what I mean? And she'll come over, and so beware, because Mary with the blue dress, which was her nickname, which was an odd nickname, because you'd think her nickname would be Mary the Ghost. You know. When they came time to pick out her nickname, you know, I think they were like, oh. They go, hey, what do you notice about Mary that makes her distinctive? We got to come up with a nickname for her. I know she wears a lot of blue dresses. She seems to have an affinity toward blue dresses. You're talking about Mary, right? The transparent lady? So I would call her Mary the Ghost. And anyways. And all they seem to do is complain, these ghosts. You ever notice that? And I was like, I can't. Everything's wrong. They're never happy or nothing, you know? They're like, something bad happened to me. And if I don't get it cleared up, I have to travel all through the world in pain and sorrow, you know? And then I'm like, well, I do too. What the hell? At least you get to walk through walls and stuff. You get to do cool stuff. I think I'll have some more water. I love water. You know, I used to do news on Saturday Night Live, and sometimes people think I know something about news. That's the funny part, because I don't know anything about news. And, like, I'll watch it on the TV, and I don't know what they're talking about, you know. And but I watch it all the time, you know. I'll turn on the TV, and then they go, welcome, the deficit. And I go, ha, ha, ha. I've heard that word before. Yeah, that's about all I know. But I watch it. You don't have to know about everything, you know. When I was young, you didn't have to know about anything. Now you have to know about everything. Everybody got an opinion and stuff. Yeah. You're supposed to know about every single... One guy asked me a couple weeks ago, he goes, Norm, how do you feel about stem cell research? I was like, me? Why don't I go to scientist school for 10 years, and then I'll come back here to this very spot, and I'll tell you what those 3 words mean. I don't know. I don't know. That's mostly my answers. And a lot of people don't know. Like you'll see on, if you ever watch the news, you ever see the news? It's on at 6. They show the news, right? And they'll have a question. And a lot of people don't know, just like me. They'll have a question. They'll show a pie chart. So they'll say, does President Barack Obama deficit reduction, ? Something like that. And then they show a pie chart, you know, so you go, oh, man, that looks like a pie. You know, you get happy. And then they have like it cut up, and they'll say like 47% yes, 48% no, 5% I don't know. So that's like me, you know. There's no shame in that. No shame at all. Well, I phone them every time there's one of those things on CNN, like one of those polls. I phone up. I want to get on that pie chart. You know, I phone up. I go, hello, excuse me. Is this the TV? Yeah, you just asked me a question. I don't know. How the hell am I supposed to know? I didn't even understand most of the words in the question. What's that cost? $1.50? Is that what it said at the start of it? Excellent. All right. I better get on that pie chart. I'll tell you that. I'm not a guy to throw away 12 bits on, you know, on nothing. To tell you be quite honest with you, nothing. Oh, look at that. So, you know, I don't know a lot about stuff, you know. Like sometimes when I go to parties and stuff, because everybody got opinions and stuff like that, what I'll do is I go to parties not to talk opinions with people and elevate myself or anything like that. I go to parties to try to get me some free sandwiches, because I find at parties often you can find, if you look, cheese sandwiches for free. And often what they do is they'll put other stuff in it, you have to take it out, so you just get the cheese, but whatever, it's free. And but the other people I notice, they go there to converse and talk of the issues of the day and so forth like that at the parties, and I don't like that kind of stuff, So I tried, and I don't know anything. See what I mean? So what I'll do is before I go to the party, I just turn on the TV, on one of them channels with news, and then there's a guy with a suit and a tie. I just say whatever he says. I'll say that at the party, and it usually works. I'll just go to the party and everybody will be yapping. They'll be like, deficit and health care, trillion, billion. Then I go, yeah. Hey, I got an opinion. Listen to this now. I blame the media. Because the media is not entirely without fault when you think about it. I mean, you can't just completely say that the media is... Anybody seen them sandwiches? A fellow over there was telling me there were sandwiches where they cut the crusts off and they're in triangles. Fellow over there. And he said they had toothpicks with frilly toothpicks in them. None of his. Not a single one of his. All right, fair enough. But I have a thing, I have a thing where I can judge guys that are at my own smartness level. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if you ever got caught talking to a smart guy. You ever have that happen to you? That's not a lot of fun. Like you're at a party and you're at that kitchen part where there's that big square thing. I don't even know what it is, but you're all standing around, and then there's 5 of you and 3 of you leave, and it's just you and the smart guy, and the guy's got a pipe or something. He's like, anyway, how about that leader from the foreign country? What about his name? You're like, I'm going to go ahead and look for them sandwiches, but I'm coming back to talk to you. I'm not running away, if that's what you think. I'm not going to run out that side door right over there and run full speed down the street. I don't think that. No. So what I do, I have a very good, I can go to my own, you know what I mean? The people that are at my smartness levels. So if I'm in a party, right, I can go right into the party and immediately, like they say gay guys have gaydar, they can sense other gay people. I'm like that with guys of my dumb level. I can walk out, I can just go, immediately I'll say, hey, I bet I can keep up with that guy over there. Then I make a beeline over for that character. And then we talk about, Jughead comics or something for a while, I don't know. We have a grand old time, and I try to pocket a couple of cheese sandwiches and take off. But it's hard to talk to anybody just in regular life, I don't know how to do it, especially like one-on-one, like talking, It's so hard with people, like my friend was saying, you gotta listen. That's the most important thing in a conversation. Listen to the person that's talking to you. But that's not enough, because eventually that other guy will stop talking. I'm good at that part. But, and then you go, oh, sorry, I forgot to think of something to say there. You keep talking, and the next time you stop, I'll say something. So you got to do two things at once. So you got to listen to the guy, everything he's saying, plus anything he says that you may know something about, you got to keep that in your head for when he stops talking. You know what I mean? So maybe he's yapping, and all of a sudden he mentions Fonzie or something like that, right? So then, in the back of your head, you go, hey, wait a second, I know something about Fonzie. So as this idiot stops talking, I'll say my Fonzie thing. Excellent. Excellent. Doodly-doo, doodly-doo. Doodly-doodly-doo. Ah. Peace. So this is what it feels like, huh? Doo-doo-doodly-doo. And then maybe the guy changes the subject. You're like, whoa, 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 whoa! Hold on a second there. Wait a minute. No, it's interesting what you're saying now. It's interesting. Hey, but what about then? Remember then? It was earlier than now? You were talking about Fonzie. Yeah, anyways. Interesting thing about Fonzie is this. It's not his real name. Arthur Fonzarelli. That's a true fact, man. You could Google that up on the W. All right, you talk for a while now. You know, it goes on from there. But I don't know. The news, I mean, some of the news I understand, you know, like, but that news isn't real news, you know what I mean? It's just odd, crazy, like Tiger Woods, who's still in it, you know, in this tournament, which is depressing for me because I like Tiger and stuff. And then, you know, Tiger victimized himself, first of all, his family, but and all these women and everything. But he also victimized the golf fan, me. You know what I mean? The guy, I believed in him and I trusted him, and so it was kind of sad for me because I don't care if a guy wants to lie down with ladies and stuff like that. You know, I understand that's a thing guys like to do, but I don't like hypocrisy. You understand what I'm saying? I don't like a hypocrite. And to me, Tiger, when I was watching him, he always presented himself to me as a golfer. You know? I always thought he was a great golfer. I watched him my whole, you know, life. And he'd be in the sand hitting it out, and then the golf ball would come real close, you know what I mean, to the hole. And then he'd put it in and go like that and everything. So I was all happy. I go, man, that guy's a golfer. People would ask me, who's Tiger Woods? I go, he's a golfer. Right? Now, I had no idea he was leading this double life where by day he was a golfer and by night he was laying down with ladies. Otherwise, I never would have bought the Buick. Now I'm driving around a Buick, people snickering at me and stuff, you know? Whatever. No, but he's a sex addict, and that's a hard one. I imagine that's a tough one to kick. Wouldn't that be the worst, like those meetings, like a sexaholic, if they have those meetings, what do they call them? They always say aholic. It only really works with alcohol. Like sex, AA, yeah, for sex. That would be a weird, I don't know how that would go. But, you know, if you haven't had sex for like a year or something, and then you don't want to hear about some guy's relapse. You know? The guy's like, I've been weak. Oh, no, you don't have to tell us. I met her in a bar. She was gorgeous. Please. You have to hug the guy. That's too bad. Oh, that's terrible. Well, we all, whatever. But I don't even know if sex, I don't even know if that's a thing. I don't know, you know. It's weird to me because if you're an addict, if you're a heroin addict, you're addicted to heroin. The more heroin you do, the more addicted you are. Booze addict, you're addicted to booze. More booze you do, bigger addict you are, you know. So to me, if you're a sex addict, let's say, you know, sometimes you meet these guys like, hey, man, this guy's 70 years old, and he's been married since he was 20. Still happy, still have a healthy sex life, still has sex with his wife, you know, every week or so, you know. Then wouldn't you think, that guy's a sex addict? He is a sex addict to such a degree that he's willing to have sex with a 70-year-old lady. That's hitting bottom there, you know. If you're going around getting a whole bunch of different ladies, that's not a sex addict. That's just a beautiful lady addict. I don't know what you call that. But if you're willing to just anything at all, just whatever's beside you after 50 years, you're like, I don't even like you anymore, but or whatever they do, whatever noise they make. Man, I don't like those news stories that's scary either, man. That's why I don't like watching the news no more. Because when I was a kid, just news stories be real stuff, you know, like about the world or whatever. But now they'll have little personal stories that have nothing to do with nobody, and they present it as the news, you know, and then you don't want to see them, you know. And I noticed the latest one, they all seem to have, the show will open the news, and there'll be a guy with a suit and a tie, so you know he's a newsman. And he goes, hey, our top story tonight, a lady has vanished. And you're like, oh, yeah? And they go, yes, she's gone. Oh, yeah? Do I know her? No. You never heard of her, but we're going to tell you about her. We got Bill. He's on the outside. They have one guy inside, one guy outside. Bill, what's going on? And then Bill's outside. He's like, yeah, the lady vanished. Her name was Janice, and nobody can find her hiding her hair of her car. Was found in the car is fine. It's in the Burger King lot, but we can't find a lady. All right, back to you. And, you know, so then you're at home. You go, I don't give a damn on account I never knew her in the first place. How can I possibly care? As a matter of fact, I'm happy it's her and not someone I know. So, but then they go, we'll tell you about it. You go, no, that's cool, you know. I don't really want to know. But they can't help themselves, you know. They go, here is she. Oh, hey, Bill, you still outside? And he's like, yeah, of course. And they go, we understand you have some friends, a Janice, to tell you about. Yes, we've been talking to some of her friends anyways. Turns out she's a good lady. Breaking news, Janice was a good lady. And we got some of her friends here going to talk about it. And then they show a lady and says, Janice's friend. And she says, oh, Janice, man, she was the greatest. She was the kind of person where you could walk into a room and she would light up the whole room. You know, it was amazing. She didn't have a light or nothing like that. She would just somehow, through sheer tyranny of will, she could make a room light up. Some of us thought it was supernatural, but. And then this is other Janice's friend. Oh, Janice. She was the type of lady I remember that you could always turn to. You know how sometimes you want to turn your neck, you know, because you're having troubles. You want to, you know, or your neck hurts, whatever. But when you turn, the person you most want to see in your eye line would be Janice, you know. And then, if you say Janice's other friend that wasn't one of the first two. Well, Janice, she's the kind of person, you could be talking to your best friend the whole world, you know, and then Janice comes in and goes, screw you, I'm talking to Janice. You know, you go over to Janice. She's a better person than you. It's Janice. And so then at home, you start to get invested in Janice. You start liking her, you know what I mean? And every day they show you more about Janice, you know, and they show different home videos of her, and you're like, hey, honey, look. Oh, I like that hat she's wearing. She's eating a piece of pizza, you know, and you start really liking her, you know. You go, man, that lady's nice. I'd like to meet her one day. I forgot she vanished. Oh, well, they'll find her. I'm sure of this. Then you get hope, you know, and all you can think about is Janice, you know. your feverish dreams are commanded by Janice's spirit, you know. You can't even think right, you know. And every day you're turning on the news, man, what's going on with Janice? And they keep going, telling, you know, and things progress, you know, and Bill's still outside, and he's like, we're still looking, it's been 3 weeks now, but as we speak, everyone's combing the woods behind me as we speak. And then you're at home, you go, oh no, not the woods. You don't like to hear that. Nothing good ever happens in the woods. I've seen enough of these stories to realize that Janice is not going to come bounding out of the woods anytime soon. It's like, hey, what's going on, everybody? I was just taking a stroll through the woods. What's going on? Why are you taking pictures of me anyway? What's going on? Now, if they find you in the woods, generally, they find you in one spot. As a matter of fact, exclusively, every time, if you're found in the woods, you're found in a shallow grave. That's the way it works. I don't know why, but I've seen enough Bill Curtis specials to know that shallow grave is where you want to end up. Certain things you don't want on your death certificate. One would be shallow grave. Massive. You wouldn't want to see that on your death certificate, the word massive. Or maybe you would. I don't know. Maybe that would be a good one. What about complications? That's the one that always confused me. I'm like, what the fuck? You go, hey, Doc, would my dad die again? It's complicated. It's complications. He died from them. Well, how'd that work? You told me it was going to be a simple operation. Yeah, we thought it was. You're not a doctor, are you? It looks simple in the book. But once we cut him open, man, a lot of red stringy stuff in your dad. Very complicated when you get in there, really. Well, anyways, goodbye. So, yeah, you don't want to see shallow grave in any of your, you know, in any of the Fourth Estate's account on your being dispatched. So, and also, doesn't it seem a little rash, a shallow grave, you know? Like after all their planning, these serial killers, they're supposed to be so cunning, you know, so diabolical according to the TV movies I've seen. And doesn't it seem a little rash at the end that all of a sudden it's just shallow grave, you know? It's just, wouldn't you think they'd go to a little, yeah? There's like, there you go, a couple of leaves and a twig. That doesn't look like Janice. I don't remember Janice having twigs and leaves all over. Nobody will find her. A Boy Scout ain't going to stumble over her tomorrow morning, I know that much. I'm going home and await the authorities. And then they go home. Now, I would, if I ever did that, and I would never slaughter and kill a woman. I want you to know that. I know I say that now. Who knows? You know? Can't predict the future, but I know there's not a river long enough that does not contain a bend. But I believe right now I would not slaughter a woman. And maybe it's just vanity talking. You know, the scriptures say that man is mostly vanity. But in my vanity, I do not believe I would do it, you know. But if I did do it, if I somehow snapped, because who would ever know, I would plan it out. I'd be very, very careful about it, you know. I would track the lady, you know. Because you know, there's still a stigma, even in today's enlightened society, when you slaughter a lady. So I would track the lady. You understand? I would find out, this is what you got to do. You got to find out her habits, you know? Like maybe you go, hey man, I know she goes to that cheese sandwich store every day, And when she comes back, she's got a big paper bag of stuff. I bet you anything, there's cheese sandwiches in there. Eh? So then you put that up in your head. Lady likes cheese sandwiches. It's one piece of information. But you take your time, you know. Then you notice, you see another pattern. You go, hey, every Wednesday night, that lady goes down to the gymnasium and plays basketball with other ladies, which is fine nowadays. So, what I would do is I would stand outside of the gym, you know, and she'd come out there all sweaty with a ridiculously tricolored ball, you know, and she'd be finished her game, and then where would I be? I'd be standing at the other side of the parking lot, and in my hand, what do you think would be resting but a cheese sandwich, right? So then she'd go, hey, what's in your hand? I go, what, nothing? She'd go, yeah, there's something in your hand. I go, there's nothing in my hand. I don't know what you're talking about. She'd go, there's something in your hand. I'm not blind. I see something in your hand. I go, there's nothing in my, oh, yeah, this. Oh, no, it's just a cheese sandwich. What, why, you like them or something? I got a whole bunch in that van over there. Yeah, that craziest looking van you've ever seen in your life. It's right over there. You want to go through it? You want to go get some? And by the way, if you ever do this, and I don't think you ever should, you don't have to have cheese sandwiches in the van. You know, unless you're proud of your detailed work or something like that. I don't want you to go, if you're a frugal serial killer, I'm the last that would advise you to throw away all kinds of money on cheese and double the amount on bread, you know? Should bread and cheese cost the exact same amount of money? But anyways, I would plan it out. That's what I'm saying. And then I would take the lady in the, and I would never do this, of course, but I would take the lady in the van to a remote area, you know, where there was a wooden shack that I had constructed, and it was silenced to the point that her screams would just echo off the walls, never to reach civilized ear again. And then I would do whatever it is that they do that gives you that godlike power, and then I would take her to the woods and I would bury her in the deepest grave ever. That would be most of my plan. The grave. Like 2 years before I had selected a victim, I would be working on the grave. I'd get 50, 100-foot grave. As a matter of fact, if I had any sense in my head, as my dad used to say about me, I would start digging the grave now. Just in case, because you never know when you're going to snap, you know. I should go home and just dig a big, deep 100-foot grave, you know? And worst case scenario, like my dad used to say, hey, a little hard work never hurt anybody, goddammit, you know? And best case scenario, I slaughter a lady and get away. If you're gonna slaughter a lady, and I'm completely against it, it's much better to slaughter a lady and get away with it than slaughter a lady and not get away with it. That's just, I don't know, because I've not done either. You know, I would have to talk to one of you that have done both to really get an answer. But I would suspect, like anything, not getting caught, you know, is the better choice than getting caught. You know, it's funny, you know, the things we think we're afraid of, you know? Because the things we're really afraid of in life, like monsters, you know, and serial killers and terrorists and stuff like that, they ain't going to do nothing, you know? Like, what's the chances, really, you know what I mean? But you're always afraid, like earthquake or something like that, you know, tsunami, I was afraid of this crazy stuff. But you're not, the stuff that really gets you, you're not afraid of. You don't even think about it, you know? Like you think, you're always like, man, I hope a terrorist doesn't attack and kill me, right? What's the chance of that happening? Like 1 in a billion, you know? A terrorist ain't going to attack and kill you, you know? But what's the chance that you're going to be attacked and killed by your own heart? About 100%? Yeah, nobody even thinks about that. Nobody even cares about that. Your heart can attack and kill you. And yet people like their hearts, you know. They give you for Valentine's, oh, a heart, ooh. People go, man, that guy's got a big heart. I go, you better fucking watch out on account of I could kill him. Does he know that? That it will attack and kill him when he's not expecting it at all? That's what happened to my dad. His heart attacked and killed him. It was tough. I don't know if you ever loved anybody, but when you love somebody and then their heart attacks and kills them, man, it makes you sad. And my dad, I loved more than anybody, and he never saw it coming, you know. He thought his heart was on his own side. He was looking around for terrorists, shit like that. And just one time, boom, his heart got him. He was lying in his bed, and boom, by the time he hit the floor, they say he was dead. And I saw him. I was the second guy after my mom to see him. And I was, oh, blood. It was black. I thought it'd be red. And he was lying there, and I was so sad. It was the most saddest moment ever. And it was too late. He was dead already, you know. And then the people came in the white. They wear white. They're not doctors, but they wear white. And it was too late. And they just try to make you feel better, you know. They just say anything, you know. Like one guy was like, don't worry, Norm, he never felt a thing. He died in his sleep. And I was like, really? When his heart attacked and killed him? Because I wake up if my cat walks across my belly. So I don't know if my dad was that sound a sleeper. And another guy said, don't worry, Norm, he's in a better place. I say, he's on the floor. Dead. Earlier, he was alive on the bed with the Tempur-Pedic pillow I got him for Christmas. I'm not a doctor, but I think that's the worst place. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I have my faith. So as long as I have my faith, you know, I'm all right. As long as you have faith. If you don't have faith, forget it. You're through. But you know. You can have other things, I guess. You guys drink booze? If you don't have faith, like I have faith, you know, I have deep faith, but if I didn't, I think I'd go for booze. Because it seems like, you know, seems like a good thing. My buddy, everybody has diseases. My buddy has alcoholism, which is a disease, and he told me that. He said, Norm, I got a disease of alcoholism. You know, it's taken over my life, and it is a disease, you know. But I always try to look on the bright side of things, and I told him, I said, listen, Bobby, his name's Bobby, I said, you know, it's true you got a disease and everything, you know, but you got to look at the bright side, because that's what I believe in. And as far as diseases go, I think you got the best one, I told him, you know. Because it's the only disease where you get to drink a lot of booze all the time. As a matter of fact, that is the disease. Just drinking booze. It's not exactly bowel cancer. You know, like my Uncle Basil, he has bowel cancer. I would not, and I don't think my buddy Bobby, the alcoholic, would ever go to my Uncle Basil and go, hey, I hear you got bowel cancer. I know how you feel, man. I drink booze. Those diseases, good Lord. What are your symptoms? My bowel hurts a lot and I bleed from the bowel. How about you? I get happy. And sometimes I go somewhere, I meet someone that has the same disease as me, and then I have sex with them that night. That's in the latter stages of the disease. But listen, man, I'm just an old chunk of coal, you know. I'm going to be a diamond someday. Don't worry about it. It'll happen. Through the grace of God, you know. You guys like God? I mean, you do God's work, you know, even if you don't know it. I have always been very religious, you know. But I'm a specific religion. I don't want to tell you what religion, you know, because I don't know if my religion is the exact correct one. Even though I know there's a God for sure, I'm not 100% sure that my guy is the right guy. And actually, that's one of my biggest fears is after I die, I get up to heaven, I'm like, oh, God, not you. I thought it was the other fella. What? Oh, God, he was a good public speaker, you got to admit that. Not him at all? No? Oh, well, how about that? So what now? I got to get raped by the devil forever or something? So that's my worst fear, you know, because I try to do good, and I try to, even though I'm an old chunk of coal, I want to be a diamond someday, you know. I want to be the world's best friend, you know, go around shaking everybody's hand, you know what I mean? I want to be a good guy. But maybe God, through even an old wretch like me, can do something. But you guys do things for children. What's better than children? You know what I mean? I had a child. I still have one. He's like 10, 15, something like that. Time goes by so quickly. You know, it's hard to remember details. No. But he's beautiful. When you have a child, man, you got love. It's unbelievable. You never had it before. You realize you've never had it once you have it. You know? Like when you have a child, you go, oh my God, what the hell is that? You know? Like I know you used the word love before and everything like that, but you're like, whoa, that is something. And then your single friends, they don't understand. You go, hey, Jim, man, you got to get one of these. This is the craziest feeling I ever had. Like, I just all through my body, all I feel is like happy. And then the guy goes, is it like crystal meth? And you go, no, what? I don't want to be your friend anymore, friend. No. This is love. This is love. And then actually, sometimes this is the flip side of it, the bad moment, because you said earlier that you loved other things before you saw this, you know, which is what you really love. And so there's always a bad moment when you're looking at that, and then you look over at your wife. You ever do that? You're like, oh, look at this. I love. That's love. Oh. Hey there, lady. What's going on there? Yes, this is it. And it makes sense, you know, because it's pure and doesn't lie, and it's you, and it's your blood and your DNA and your Aunt Hazel's nose part right there, and everything. And so how can that compete to some lady that you met in a bar one night? How can that possibly compete with that? So anyways. The children. I love children. It's funny, like you can't love children anymore because, you know, even though Jesus, and I'll tell you something, I don't want to say any specific religion is better than all the false ones, but this is the only religion, I'll tell you, that I am against, the Church of Satan. Any retard knows that's not the right one. I think even Satan himself admits it. Anyway, you know, so Jesus was, that's one of the only, I think it's the only religion that puts children at the core, you know, of their religion, you know. They love children. So that's good, because I love children. But when my child was young, though, it was always worry, you know. I remember when he was really young, and I was worried about everything. I remember one time, like he was only 4 days old or something, I was watching TV, and they had a news story that said, coming up, a news story on crib death. And then I was like, that's where my kid sleeps. You would think crib death would put a crimp in the sales of cribs. If not wipe out the entire industry. That's what I would think. You know? A couple of Toyotas go skidding around, all of a sudden they can't sell cars. But the crib industry, incredibly resilient, actually kills children. One of its defects. I'm calling for a full recall of all the cribs that have killed the children. Oh man, I'm thirsty. La 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 la. So yeah. So I'd probably drink if I wasn't a person of faith, you know. I'd probably drink a lot of booze and stuff like that. That'd be fun. You gotta do something, you know. And yeah, I don't like drinking though. You ever drink those little shooters that are really like powerful and they have like sex names? They have like filthy names. You know what I'm talking about? So they'll have like sex on the beach. You know what I mean? And so I don't know why they name them like that. I guess because people are drunk and they're like, hey, maybe if I drink that will happen to me. But of course, if you have a night of drinking, you're not going to end up having sex on the beach. That's never happened in the history of recorded time. You know? But you know, you're not going to have a shooter bar where you go up and go, yeah, excuse me, can I have a humping a dude I figured was a lady? I swear to God, I thought he was a lady. And also, my friend will have a senseless knife fight. You got one of them? Give him one of them. But, you know what? I don't like drinking. Because I can't drink. I go on the road so often, you know, because I'm a stand-up comic, and I'm also a dangerous drifter. So my hobby and my work dovetail very nicely. I drift from town to town, across this great nation, you know, and I do some stand-up comedy. So I'll be in a town, and the policeman feller will say, "How long you in for?" He won't know that I do stand-up. He just knows me as a drifter. He goes, "I see you're in town, huh?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "How long you gonna be here?" I go, "Just till Monday." "Yeah, I work down there. I got a job, see? I got a job." "Well, you can ask Vic." "I'll be asking Vic. And I want you out of here Monday morning the time you say you're going to be out of here." "I will, sir, I will." And off I go. But what I was going to say was that, you know, as I travel this great nation, you know what I would like to do actually is, if there is a Great Depression, is that coming, by the way? Because you guys seem to know more than me. Like, will there be a Great Depression? Like, will I be carrying around at some point a stick with a thing on the back of it? And will I be hanging around big garbage cans with fires and making hot dogs with them and sharing them with my friends? And ganging together, you know? We got to gang together in case the other gangs get us. No? I don't know. Keep seeing things on the news. Got to prepare myself. What about those things you see on the commercials where you go, I think everything's like retarded now because something's happening weird, you know? Like, you ever see where they'll go like, have a guy in the commercial and he goes, "Hey, You like gold? And you go, yeah. You go, you ever think of getting gold? Keeping it? It's worth a lot of money. And you go, yes, of course I've thought of that ever since I was 5. Daffy Duck. I first thought of it when I watched Daffy Duck when I was 5. Ah, well, you should get gold. I'm G. Gordon Liddy, and I broke into the Watergate Hotel. You like gold? I don't even know why the guys. What about guys that, oh, forget it. I was going to say guys that do commercials where they're, you know when guys are old and they do commercials and you kind of feel sorry for them, you know, because they're old. Like, remember the $6 Million Man? Right? The guy was worth $6 million. No, he's an actor, but he played the $6 Million Man. So when he got this, he goes, hey, man, what's the role going to be? You're going to be a guy worth $6 million. Say your arms are the best arms, and your eyes, everything. So he's feeling good about himself, you know? He's like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah? Because a regular man is not worth $6 million. You'd be surprised to know this, but an actual regular person, if you just took them down to their trace elements, you know what a human body's worth? It's only worth like a couple of $100,000. So, but this guy was worth $6 million. So now, anyway, I seen him on the commercial. He sells the bionic ear. So this is kind of sad to me, you know, that he was at one time, you know, Hollywood $6 million man, and now he's like, I don't hear too good. You want to buy this? The bionic ear. And of course, you get gypped because you think of the bionic ear from the show, where it was like do 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 do, and you could hear from a long way away. You know how you could tell the bionic man was fast, by the way? This is kind of a neat trick they did that seems very counterintuitive. But at the start of the bionic man, they'd show a collage of how powerful he was. To show how fast he ran, they would show him running in slow motion. So he'd be like this, da-da, and you go, God damn, that guy's fast. You go, man, I wish I could run that fast. How does he run that fast? So I always feel sorry for those guys that have to do that. What about those guys that have to do? They get so old, they do those commercials for old guys that can't get insurance and stuff. That's a bad job. Ed McMahon had it for a while, then he died. You know, after that job, generally he would die, but because they pick an actor that's going to die soon, so he can relate to that. But so now it's Alex Trebek or something, but it's always like, and they're trying to get old people, really old people, to get insurance that it appears they shouldn't be entitled to, and so it's always like, hey, have you never been accepted once? Everybody decline you because you're so close to death? Anyways, we want you. I don't know why, but it's costs $2 a year, and we don't make a lot of money, I'll be honest with you. My father started the business, and he was worth $6 billion 6 years ago, and he blew it all with this ridiculous venture. Anyways, so listen, guys, in honor of the children, you know, because, hey, the children are our future, and I believe that. I don't really believe that because they told me that when I was a kid, and it didn't work out. But I will tell you a joke that a kid told me in a sick kid's hospital. He told me this joke, and he promised me to tell you. And he's going to see his Savior before I mine, probably. Who knows? But his joke is this. This is his joke. He goes, it's a funny joke, and then I'll leave you. But you guys have been great. Thank you so much. So here's the joke. The joke is this. A dog walks into a telegram office, Western Union, I'm supposing. And he didn't know. And he said, so the telegram guy goes, hey, what do you want me to write in your telegram? So the dog goes, woof, 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 woof. So the guy writes it down, you see. And then he says to the dog, he goes, hey, dog, I can't help but notice here, there's only 9 words on your telegram, you know. 10 words or less, it's the same price. If you would like, I could add an extra woof, you know. And then the dog goes, but that wouldn't make any sense. Why would I? Most of his brain stem was gone. He wasn't making a lot of sense. But he was a child. They said he was more host than virus. I don't even know what that means. I'm not a doctor, but no such child exists. All children are beautiful, except the evil ones. I like all children, except British children. I don't like those British children because they remind me of the devil. They're very evil. And, you know, I grew up with the Omen and stuff like that. And, you know, when the Omen was young, Damien, you know, he was all scary and everything, you know. And then later, they did Omen 2, and he's a little older, he was still frightening. And then he was like 13 in the third one, and then he was frightening. Then they did one, he was an adult, he wasn't frightening at all. It's interesting, huh? You would think that you know, human beings would become more evil as time went on. You know? You wouldn't think that the embodiment of evil would be inside of a child. But, you know, I think that's just the celluloid pictures we get, you know. I think in reality, you know, as the scriptures say, let the children lead us, you know. So let me think if I can think of a joke. It only seems fair. Jeez, I don't know a lot of jokes. Oh, I know a joke. There was a guy who had a great pig, man. This guy had the greatest pig in the world. And so a guy come to his house and said, man, I hear you got the greatest pig in the world. So the farmer goes, are you kidding? You talking about Bill? The guy goes, I don't know, man. I just heard it was a pig. I didn't know it was a name. He goes, yeah, his name's Bill. Bill the pig. And this pig, man, he's the best. He goes, why do you say that? How come you say that? You got any examples? He goes, I got examples. He goes, last summer, man, he goes, our child fell into the well, you know, and was in the well. We didn't even know, and the pig came running. I was at the back 40 hoeing, and the pig grunted and snorted, and I came, just got my son out just in time. God bless that pig, you know. The pig had a wooden leg, by the way. I forgot to tell you that part. And so then he goes, yeah, that's interesting, but he's got a wooden leg. He goes, let me tell you more about the pig. He goes, then another time, he goes, that pig saved my life, man. I was under the tractor, and a pig, with his own weight, pushed up the tractor and hurt his spine. He had disc issues later, but he did it for me on account he loves me. And he goes, well, but still, you only got the wooden leg. Never mind that, the guy says. He says, listen to my stories about the pig. He goes, this pig, well, you know, last summer, the big fire, you heard about the big fire? You never heard about it? It was a big fire. It was a big fire all down the rural Route 20 here, and it hit our house the worst. Anyways, the wife and I are very sound sleepers, and we didn't hear anything. And if it weren't for the pig, who hit his snout on the window outside of our bedroom, hit it with such ferocity that it smashed the window open, and we escaped, you know, the black smoke, then we would not be alive today. Why we belong to this pig. This pig, we would not exist without it. It's our most prized possession, if you could even call it that. We love that pig more than anything. And so then the guy said, but I still don't understand. How come it's got a wooden leg? And then the guy says, are you kidding me, man? Have you even been listening to me? You can't eat a great pig like that all at once. You know? You haven't heard a word I've said? What is wrong with you? Hey, folks, you've been great. God bless. Keep up the good work. And may God save your soul.
Our next roaster used to be on Saturday Night Live. Now he just watches it. Well, up until last week when a hooker stole his TV. Please welcome the incoherent Norm MacDonald.
Norm MacDonald is here, one of the funniest people ever. Norm's got a giant gambling problem. He's dropped more coin in a casino than Michael J. Fox at a parking meter. It's a fucking roast. Groany, groan, groan.
Norm MacDonald's so stoned he thinks he's at a roast for Bob Seger. I love you, Norm. Wow, you never come out, Norm. You're like the J.D. Salinger of dick jokes. Yeah. What's the over-under tonight? What's going to happen, Norm?
No, I wanted to read something funny, so I'm reading Marmaduke.
Oh, my God. This is what happens when you book a dais off Craigslist. Bob Saget directed Norm MacDonald's movie Dirty Work. Yeah. A move that transformed Norm MacDonald into a Starbucks employee.
Did you say something after Star?
Norm MacDonald is here. He does an amazing Burt Reynolds impression. And by that, I mean he's not in movies anymore either.
Normie MacDonald. I've never met you before, but I want you to know I'm carrying mace.
Jim Norton is a pervert. He's a necrophiliac. Last night he fucked Norm MacDonald in his career.
Norm can't stay much longer. He has to get his suit back to his father's coffin.
Norm MacDonald. Norm, too bad this isn't a real roof you could jump over after that set.
Norm MacDonald, God bless you. Watching your set was like watching Henry Fonda pick blueberries.
Why, I don't think there's a person in here that would not love to watch Henry Fonda pick blueberries.
You know who you look like in profile? Brando.
Oh, Marlon Brando?
Yeah.
Towards the end?
I'm not kidding.
Because it's funny with Saturday Night Live, isn't it? The people that either they go on to huge fame or they fizzle into oblivion generally.
Yeah, yeah. And it's...
then there's me.
And then there's you.
No, but...
It won't go away. Come on, baby.
This is the New York Times bestseller list, not the New York News.
Yes, New York Times bestseller list. And by the way, I didn't know...
I call it the New York News rather than New York Daily News.
Well, that's great. Anyway... That's Don Rickles channeling me. God bless Don Rickles. I love him so much. I know it's in my fiber uncontrollably. Well, that's good.
Look at you. How's this? How's it doing? Hello, ice cream. Having a good time? Running around? What are you laughing at? Because I called your friend a fat pig, huh? You think that's funny?
Oh, no, I was just laughing earlier when you were talking to his belly.
Did you get a horse and live in the mountains someplace and don't bother anybody? Got a personality like a dead moth. What's the matter with you? Have you always been like this? How you got this movie, I'll never know.
Man, you're a hot fucking piece of ass.
Look at that. I do all my shopping at the mall. Have you ever been to Forever 41?
Forever 41?
Norm, you're dressing like you're going to help somebody move. You're wearing sweatpants to the biggest show in YouTube history.
This is the biggest show on the internet.
You dress like you're going to paint the set.
He can't help himself.
Norm, thanks for dressing up.
Hey, Sarah, listen, man. Congratulations. That's the 100th time that joke's been done tonight. You're putting your
life on you. Dressed like horse shit tonight.
No, that was Adam Eagle's fault.
That
was Adam Eagle's fault.
I told you to bring a wardrobe. Some kind of a host coat.
But that was
you
Adam Eagle's fault.
You got a thing with a hood.
But that was Adam Eagle's fault.
But then you're reading these. This is you.
It's true I have a small world. But I now live in a community. And I have my mother who lives in the next building.
Mm-hmm. Are you in a condo?
Yes, I have a condo, and then my mother has a condo.
What time do you go to bed at? No, what time do you wake up in the morning?
It depends on when I go to bed, but I go to bed pretty late.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, because you know what
so you're done cuddling with your mom, and it's lights out about what time?
My mom goes to bed early,
so it's back to the unit.
But
Mom,
remember,
I got to stay up and gamble.
Remember, I live in a different place than my mother.
That's not what I hear.
Sleep in a different bed.
That's not the way I heard it, but I may be wrong. Is there gambling? Is there daily gambling going on?
You have me like Norman Bates.
Let's see now your montage. This is very exciting for me because I never got a chance to see it.
I trimmed the fat. I think I got a nice short package here of all the greatest
trimmed the
hits.
fat.
So
Let's
if
take
we
a look.
could, let's roll the clip of the first day of the Masters.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
Listen, it's not your fault. Whatever. It's funny, I guess. I love it. That fucking thing went viral.
There's a good chance it might.
You see your face?
Oh yeah, it's me with a huge fat fucking face.
Yeah, I didn't want to be the one to say it.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of trouble. My doctor, he said he's not a very nice guy. He said, open your mouth and say oink.
Yeah, you need to get better insurance, Norm.
Insurance? He was calling me a fat pig.
Well, I mean, nobody's going to disagree with him.
Oh, Kasim.
I'm sorry, Norm. I've got an acid tongue.
You do. You're an acid-tongued Arab. So he said, yeah, he said, it's going to be a pretty wild party. You know, I'm not used to wild parties. I said, what is a wild party there? You know, I don't get out much. He says, oh, you know, he's like a little drinking, a little fighting, a little fornicating, you know? Yeah. I said, wow, man, that sounds pretty good. I said, what time should I show up? He goes, anytime, it's just the two of us. Now...
You came over, didn't you? A little fighting, a little fornicating. What's he, an old pirate all of a sudden? Ah.
You notice how I didn't say it's 11?
Hey!
I was working at Art's
deli coffee shop.
Deli and coffee shop, bussing tables. So Andy comes up to me and he goes, hey man, I got a way to make some money. I said, what is your way? He goes, I'm going to become a male prostitute. So he comes to me the next day and he says, hey, I'm buying breakfast. I says, why is that? He says, I made $450.05 last night. And I said, well, who on earth gave you 5 cents? He said, every one of them.
He says he's mature, and I think it's because he's telling my grandfather's jokes.
Stop it! Both of you! Whoa!
Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt, but they were doing my mic backstage, and I really just caught the end of that joke. Do you mind repeating it? Is that okay?
Yeah, start that again, would you, Norm?
Something about a Swedish...
Yeah, there was a Swedish German guy named Andy Richter. That was a 40-minute story! It's like somebody... Youthful purpose?
Youthful purpose?
Yes! It's like somebody saying, I gotta show you something. They take on a 4-mile hike to show you a dog turd. Look at it. Okay. Well, there's your reel for CBS.
I have not seen you in so long.
I know, it's been a
while. I love you. Makes me very sad now that you're
I've gained 45 pounds.
I don't care. A man as brilliant as you are is doing a podcast for 18 people. And Kim Kardashian's mother has a talk show. Your asswipe producer just held up a sign, let's take a break. Where are we going? We're talking to 6 people. You know, we could get on a bus right now, the 3 of us, and yell out the window and reach more people.
Oh, this is
look at
your
the camera.
Oh, this is Norm MacDonald's.
Norm's first talk show. It's like a talk show. It's like a talk show that you would deliver to millions of people, so the next day they would respond, except we're reaching about 50. Most of them are prisoners. Some of them are dangerous.
I think we have some questions.
From who?
Well, from people, from the 7 people watching the podcast.
Why do you say there's only 7?
Well, he said 7. I just thought he did.
I didn't say 7. I said 50.
All right, well, 50.
7 would be bullshit.
We've been down this road together. We've been seeing the colors fade.
You know that I introduced you and Kevin Nealon to each other?
Yeah, I do. I know that. I knew a lot of things before you started doing this stupid podcast. Let me tell you something. Why don't you get something that is semi-professional? You're a bunch of asswipes. Right now I'm getting on a bus and I'm going to scream out the window and I'll reach 20 more people than you did tonight. I'm telling you, don't ever call me again. Don't ever try to get a hold of me. I will never do this show again as long as I live.
You know, we just saw this footage of you doing these amazing tricks, and I can't imagine doing anything like that. But are there any tricks that you're known for in particular? I know that, you know, different athletes maybe have different moves. Is there one that's kind of yours?
There is. Funny you should mention. It's called the Crippler.
The Crippler?
The Crippler.
Okay, did you come up with that name?
No. Definitely not. My mom, every time I say it, she's like, can't we come up with something more sweet and feminine?
Right.
The Crippler's it's a little scary.
What does the Crippler involve? Describe this move to us.
Okay, so in the half pipe, you have a front side wall and a back side wall. And the Crippler's done on the front side wall. And you're spinning, well, regular Crippler 540 is 1.5 rotations, and you're also doing a backflip at the same time. So spinning, flipping, that's Crippler.
Wow. Okay, have you been really badly hurt doing this one or no?
Well, it took me a long time to figure out how to do this trick.
Right.
Multiple black eyes, landing on my butt a lot. It took a little while.
Okay.
Being crippled?
No. I didn't. No.
I should have warned you about him.
I know.
He's going to be here the whole time.
Kelly. I love Kelly.
Gretchen.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Gretchen.
Yeah.
No, you want me to say why I said Kelly? Because I was just on the phone with a girl named Kelly. But I'm telling you about this girl named Kelly. She couldn't do no
Crippler.
No 1440.
Yeah.
You ever do a 1440?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
What's the most you've ever done?
900.
900 is
That's
huge.
pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, 900 is what?
Andy, I may ask you to take Norm for a walk. Oh, okay. Just around the parking lot. Now, Norm, in his own way, brings up a good point.
Right.
Which is there's crazy terms
That's
you
true.
use in this snowboarding, right? Yeah, they don't just say it's the Crippler is one of them, but give us some examples of some of the terms people use.
Yeah, so there's, everyone loves to talk about this because the snowboarding lingo is just a little out there. But we have, like, in snowboarding, style is really important, and where you grab your board, it's really important. And so there's some crazy names for grabs, like the chicken salad grab, the roast beef, Japan air, stale fish, slob air.
Do they mean, I mean, is there a reason for those names, or are they just randomly, you're just throwing stuff out like the flosser and the, you know, the onion stew? I mean, you're just throwing stuff out there that has no relation to anything.
You should come up with a snowboard
pie
grab.
and gob gob.
Yeah, maybe if you want to come up with, like, where to grab it and then call it something, and I'll bring it out during
what about
the contest.
like?
Here we go. Here we go.
No, she asked, but I like that Crippler.
Yeah.
What about the long-suffering death?
Oh, that's a different one. That's different.
She didn't ask, technically.
Yeah, I did.
You're headed into your second Olympics.
I am.
You excited? You must be.
A quick question.
Good
I'm sorry.
God.
I'm sorry.
When I pick up the blue
Why is it that in some sports, like beach volleyball or snowboarding, the women are breathtakingly beautiful, and you would think they would be big, you know, like big. You think they'd be big monsters of ladies.
Why would you think that, though?
Well, like softball.
We can't be
Actually,
yeah.
Oh, Brock Lesnar is here.
I'm here. Norm has to go.
Oh, you have to leave?
Your people.
Norm's a busy man.
Your people are telling us that you have to go. If you want to stay, it's up to you.
Quick break?
You run. We just have a few minutes. I'll talk to Brock.
Go.
You run.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to.
Norm
And Brock will sit there, and if you can stay, you can stay. If not,
I want to get a picture of Norm.
take your thing off.
We
Don't
do
give your
things
thing
on
on.
the show. Could you snap a picture?
Brock,
I'll take one with
come sit.
Hey, Brock, come on over. It's just a busy day.
Yeah, they snuck in.
Someone show Brock where he is.
Brock's right here. Oh, he's waiting for the picture.
Okay, all right.
Finally meet you guys, man.
All right.
Colin, you're out of here too. See you later, buddy.
Come on, buddy.
Colin Quinn, Long Story Short, premieres on HBO a week from Saturday at 10 p.m. See you soon, Kyle.
Hi, Melinda. That's your ex?
Yeah.
Girlfriend?
Yeah.
Do you want to? Here you go, buddy.
Where'd Colin go?
Colin just ran out.
Fucking mess. I love it.
It's a clusterfuck.
Don't be around. Colin, where you going?
We actually are on the air.
Hi, Brock. How are you?
Yes.
Sorry about that. Welcome to the Opie and Anthony Show.
Thanks for coming in.
You know Norm MacDonald behind you, just so you know the people. That's Norm.
Colin Quinn and Norm MacDonald.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Go somewhere?
Good.
I'll be back. I'm just.
Ant's just taking a lot of pictures.
All right, can they do it out? They can do it outside, right? Can they take the pictures outside? Oh my God! All right, we're taking pictures. Brock Lesnar, you really walked into a clusterfuck, but we're happy that you're here. Thanks for coming.
Morning.
Yeah, thanks for doing our show. It wasn't easy to get you on the show.
Yeah,
Happy to do it.
What time did you get up this morning?
Way too fucking early.
Can we do this outside? Can we everybody do this outside, please? I'd like to fuck with everybody, but Norm.
Nice to meet you.
I love you, Norm. Good seeing you, buddy. I'm happy you're here. But, no, I love you very much, actually.
Because he loves Brock Lesnar more.
Because I'm happy Brock is here, and people are doing a photo session in the fucking booth.
Don't wear it out.
We knew this would be a clusterfuck.
That's all right.
I want to ask him about the 50,000 he lost on a home run, but next time. Yeah. Norm MacDonald was great on the show today.
Oh, yes, he was.
Holy shit. Brock,
all
sorry.
right, Brock is here.
Sorry, Brock.
All right, now we are ready.
Yes.
For Brock Lesnar.
No.
Yeah.
Feelings flowing up and down, picking up the pieces that you left behind, hitting a new type of flow, breathing in the smoke and clearing up my mind. The thoughts of you, I never knew what the hell you got me into. Fuck do you mean?
Because MMA is harder. I mean, it's like, not that wrestling isn't a grind, but MMA, you're really being hit a lot harder than you're getting hit in wrestling. In the face. I mean, guys like Shane. First of all, Shane Carwin, how did you survive that? I couldn't believe that you would kept kicking him
I got a
off.
head like a horse.
I have other things like a horse.
And in court this week, Kato Kalin testified that O.J. Simpson did not appear angry before or after the period of his wife's murder. But Kalin admitted he could have been a touch edgy while he was actually murdering her. Might have been a Labor Department study shows that the number of temporary workers rose to 2 million in 1994. And that study doesn't even include the most temporary of the temporarily unemployed, Kato Kalin. Yesterday on Rivera Live, Kato Kalin made the startling admission that he now thinks O.J. Simpson is guilty, although authorities suspect this may just be part of an attempt by Kato to crash at Fred Goldman's place for a while. As the jury's decision was announced, Nicole Brown's sister Denise Brown told reporters, quote, "I feel ecstatic," while Johnny Cochran said, quote, "I accept the verdict and now we must move on." Meanwhile, Kato Kalin said, quote, "Please, God, don't let it be over." Wednesday on CBS's This Morning program, correspondent Eleanor Mondale went toy shopping with Kato Kalin. According to producers, it was part of a new segment on the show called Let's Punish the Audience.
Hey, how about Norm's friend in the companion seat right now, Kato Kalin? Remember Kato? There he is. How long have you known Cato?
Cato, I know him about 15 years.
How did you meet Cato?
Well, he lives in his house.
Cato,
Norm actually
Cato.
crashes on my couch.
Yeah. Cato, you got to get your own place.
Got it, Alan. Got it.
How did you meet Norm?
Actually, through sports many years ago.
Up in Canada?
Tennis and golf.
Didn't know you
I've
played.
been around for a while there, Regis. Yeah.
Didn't know you played tennis and golf.
Oh, yeah,
so-
yeah.
Good.
As a matter of fact, my charity today is the Palm Beach Tennis and Golf Resort.
Oh, actually, Norm's kidding. It's the Hole in the Wall gang, right?
Yeah, it's the Hole in the Wall gang camp that Paul Newman started, and it's real good for kids to go to that camp that are sick, you know.
That's nice. That's good.
Make a lot of money.
Cato's very happy for you.
Cato's a good man.
Because Joy has her hand on my lap.
Joy has her hand in Cato's lap. All right. Dynamite so far. Cato's very proud of you.
He's a good man.
$300.
By the way, Cato and I, I like the ladies. You know what I'm saying?
You and Cato like to...
He's just a guy I know. That's all I'm trying to say.
We all have our own thoughts about that.
I can't believe you were bullied by Norm MacDonald.
Why don't you believe that?
Because Norm is just like the unicorn. Like nobody really has conversations with Norm, let alone.
He would kind of, well, he would.
I'm going to kick your ass, Fred.
No, not threaten to beat me
Me and
up.
Billy Joe Shaver.
not threaten to beat me up, but just kind of like
teasing you a lot.
I know you're at the end, but him and Cato were friends, and they would just be
him
assholes.
and who?
Cato Kalin, the biggest piece of shit.
So Cato
watch the
Kalin?
Hilardi thing. We talked about it.
No,
yeah.
I didn't. I fell asleep. It was on late. That's not because you were boring. I mean,
him and Norm were best friends. He was Norm's lifeline.
Hey, Cato Kalin.
They were friends.
So
and they would
Cato
play
Kalin
tennis.
would heckle you too?
Well, we one time me, Cato, and Norm played tennis, and I got a flat tire, and they were driving, laughing at me because I was on the side of the road. And Cato would kiss up to Norm,
but they didn't stop to help you with your
no,
flat tire.
they stuck their heads out the window, and were laughing as they drove by.
What jerks!
Yeah,
you on Norm's podcast.
Well, I did.
Oh, you did already?
Yeah.
Oh.
And
well, you don't need my help at all, do you?
No. Yeah, and
was it fun? Did you bring up the fact that he bullied you?
Or
were you afraid because he was a bully?
I was a little afraid that I'd get busted, and about the book. But he goes, I don't care. Norm didn't care. Yeah, I go, I said, Norm, I have to be honest. You're in the book, and I said something. He goes, I don't care.
Sam, who was Norm's best friend the second season of the Norm Show?
Cato Kalin.
You're kidding! I spent an entire year with Cato Kalin. I know stuff about Cato Kalin. Norm, Cato befriended Norm. I can't even get into this whole thing. But, so we do, the Norm Show was 2 seasons, all right?
Right.
And we shoot the first season of the shit's picked up. In the meantime, Norm is living in L.A., so I get back to, you got to be back on the set like August 1st or something. So I start moving back out there like July 28th. And this girl, Lori Jo, who Sam's talking about, and maybe even Sam might have called me up and said, Norm wants, to play a big poker game tonight at Norm's, which we used to do all the time. He's come by. He goes, oh, wait, you're going to meet Norm's new best friend. I'm like, who's that? She goes, you'll see. I walk in, and it's Norm and these guys we used to play poker with, and Norm's crazy ex-assistant, this kid, Danny Wilson. And Cato Kalin. I'm sitting there going like this, like one of the main characters in the biggest trial of the century.
Well, Ralph is the Cato Kalin. I mean, Ralph.
It's amazing the parallels.
It's a type of guy. It's like
he's the poor man's Cato.
No, I mean, yeah.
Poor man, you're rich.
You got more money than OJ.
No, Ralph's the poor man's Cato Kalin.
But can I just say something about Ralph? There's such a level of entitlement. He always says, I don't feel entitled. But like he'll go to Sam's house, and you would think being in the guest house and having access to servants or whatever would be enough. He was out there one time, a couple times ago, and if I have the cars wrong, tell me, Sam, but I guess the Bentley was parked in front and the Mercedes was parked behind, and Sam left the keys to the Mercedes for Ralph so Ralph could go around and do what he wanted. and somehow Ralph talked the help into giving him the keys and moving it so he could drive the Bentley.
But you got it.
Like the Mercedes wasn't enough, the Bentley was what he needed to be.
What these guys are great at doing in L.A.'s filled with now. Well, Cato did that whole season, like, systematically. By week 15, Cato was on the show.
Yeah.
Cato got onto the Norm show.
Cato was looking for a job out of it.
He had a...
He gets kind of passed around too because there was a writer producer Kevin Curran. I think he's on The Simpsons now.
Yeah.
He used to be on Married with Children, and the first time I met Cato was after the O.J. trial, and he was hanging out with Kevin Curran.
But he was like in my life. Like, you know, I would go to work, and Cato would be, whether he had to work or not, he was at rehearsal.
And what did Norm get out of it?
Well,
Like,
Norm just said, hey, look, he's a good guy. And, like, we would all go, like, I don't know what's... So Norm got so friendly with him that every once in a while we go to this tennis club by Warner Brothers.
All right.
And we play doubles tennis. And Norm and Cato always had to be a team. It became, like, the 4th fucking grade. So me and one of the other writers would always play Norm and Cato in tennis. And I would tell the writer, I said, listen, if we lose to these motherfuckers, I'm gonna tear Cato's head off. Because if they got a point, and Norm is so competitive, you want to strangle him.
Right.
If they got a point, man, Cato would go like, Howie. And you just feel like going, you murdering fuck, you killed a woman, you helped kill a woman. Like,
Cato didn't have anything to do with murdering a woman.
Well, I felt like saying that to him.
Oh.
But you know, he would make you livid and red with anger, and like Norm and him were just the best of buddies for a year, like he had his...
And what happens that the relationship
They had
ends?
a falling out somehow.
Oh, really?
Of course.
The Norm show got canceled. I came back here. I started here, and eventually I heard they had a falling out. But it's weird. Like,
I think Cato was Norm's phone a friend on Celebrity Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Get out of here.
So when they were playing tennis together, they always had to be like a doubles partner?
Oh, my God, how
Like it became like a
And
thing.
you could see how insidious it was. And me and this other kid, we'd play with, like, we used to beat him most of the time, thank God. But
Oh, my God, really?
Yeah, if we lost...
Well, he gets so... Norm is the most...
We got thrown out of the club. There was an incident with David Hyde Pierce. What?
David Hyde Pierce, what a group.
Next to the Warner Brothers lot, there's like this tennis club, and it's like an exclusive club, and it was like Caddyshack. Me and Norm would walk over in corduroys and just say we want a court, and the guys there were like star fuckers. They give Norm a court. He had a show on ABC, so we walk on, and David Hyde Pierce would be there, and he had like an instructor.
He'd be in his tennis whites.
Tennis sweaters tied around his neck. And me and Norm, like, if I lost a point to Cato Kalin, I'd go, fuck, cunt, fuck, and I'd throw the racket, and David Hyde Pierce would get all scared.
What's this?
Yeah, like he was scared. And Norm would like abuse him about maybe being gay, like all this shit.
My
like, and finally Hyde Pierce complained and got us thrown out. We got walked out of the club. Me, Norm, Cato Kalin, and this writer, we got walked out of the club. David Hyde Pierce was looking at us like all red faced, like, yeah, get out of here.
Fuckers.
Yeah, fuckers. And but Cato and Ralph has a lot of those. Like when I'm hearing this, I saw it firsthand, and I'm saying, my God, he's doing the same exact thing.
Yeah, that's wild.
I want to address myself as best as I know how to those that I have wronged, that I have sinned against. I have sinned against you, my Lord, and I would ask that your precious blood would wash and cleanse every stain until it is in the seas of God's forgetfulness, never to be remembered against me.
But what I want to tell you is this. With all your wealth and your success, and this is serious from the heart, you know, you got to remember, this is a saying I made up. And when I say, you know, I used to make jokes at 12:30 about him being gay, that's absolutely ridiculous. But when we were starting out, I will tell you one story about Andy. No, what I do is I've decided to become a kind of a social observer. You know me, I like to make jokes about hats. But there's right here, there's a new strain of swine flu that could turn into a pandemic. Like, I don't know much about science, you know? I don't pretend to be a epidemiologist. Sometimes I do, but, you know, that's when I've had a little whiskey.
Yeah.
But I do know this, a word cannot be good when it's a combination of panic and epidemic.
So how'd this...
Look, we're reading your resume. It says here the last...
Your last gainful employment was trying to assassinate a sitting president. That doesn't go good down here. We run a kind of a mom and pop operation. Also, look at that guy, man. Good Lord, I'd like to, whatever. I'm thankful for the fine ladies who live across this country and leave pies on their windowsills. So an old chunk of coal like me might have a meal from time to time.
Okay. Are there a lot of these?
I'm most thankful for, honest to God, is friends.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah.
Yes, Conan, friends. Especially the one where Joey buys Chandler a duck.
All right,
Oh, hey, I'm thankful that this year the police finally solved the baffling murder of Bob Hope. No, the Burbank police and the LA... and finally... Like, when I was young, there was a fella went by the name of Jacques de Gautier. I started to do stand-up and travel from here to there and to here again. We're tuning in to listen to comedians doing comedy. Plus some douchebag, I don't know who he was, but I like to punch him right in the fucking face.
I'm not an actor and I'm not a comedian.
This guy says your face looks like a cunt. I met you underneath the Queensboro Bridge. You at the time were jerking off punks for $15 a man.
My whole family's watching, man. My grandmother.
Your family doesn't know that when you were a young man, you used to jerk off punks for $15 a man? You got paid for this?
You didn't get a check?
I did not get a check. Who paid you?
Daniel Kelson, our producer. He gave me a check last week.
You got a check from Daniel?
Yeah, I got it right here.
No way. Let me see that.
Yeah, right here.
Let me see this thing. It is from Daniel Kellison, paid to the order of Adam Egget for services rendered, $15. Game of Thorns.
It's Thrones.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Sure. Yeah. Well, what the fuck is that? Whoever watched that? Now, are you telling me that's better than Norm MacDonald Live?
I mean, I don't want to say it's better than, a lot of people watch it. It's a pretty popular show.
What's it about? It's about pictures of ladies?
Yeah, ladies and knights and kings and midgets and, dragons.
Sounds like my honeymoon. Kinky Boots is number 8. Yeah. Sounds like my honeymoon. There's this guy, Chance Langton. You know him? He's a comic.
No.
But he said when he was a young boy, he loved Shirley Temple. He was 5 and she was 5. The next year, he saw her in a mall. He was 6, she was 50.
And his descriptions of the food. Look it.
What was the music all about?
What kind of sandwich was that? Pastrami or?
I feel like an elephant is not fat. Well, it's so isolated, you see, because there is another sister that lives there. A leper.
So he fucked a leper?
Let's not be coarse. Good God, man. I wish I could find a Hitler of today and go kill him. By the way, I saw that film that you recommended me that you called a fantasy, Shoah. Horrifying. I had a question I wanted to ask you about your comedy.
Yeah, I've been chomping at the bits to ask this one. I've been thinking about it all week. Norm told me to come up with some questions for you, and I've just been dying to know, where do you get your ideas from? Well, I mean...
Were you in New York when the Twin Towers fell?
No, I was in Los Angeles.
Well, either way, it was a national tragedy. It was.
Yeah, I know.
9/11. We're going to go to hell.
You know, this kind of backlash happens so fast now because of social media. And, you know, Adam, I know you've been involved with the Comedy Store for a long time, but when Louis jumped up at the Comedy Cellar the other night, a couple weeks ago, the Cellar's taken a lot of heat from people who were not necessarily customers.
Right.
You know, people
Yeah.
on, you know, the other side of the country or whatever. And we didn't, you know, we never had that kind of thing happen before.
No.
Well, I'll tell you this, and I did not know this, and maybe you do. Comedians have gone up against Louis.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was talking to some
Comedians have said this guy should not be able to ever perform again.
Yeah, I mean, they all come.
You know, if you're a murderer, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
go.
sorry. I'm sorry. But if you're a murderer, you go to jail, and they let you off, whatever, 20 years later, and you try to get a job as a busboy. And if the guy says, "I'm not hiring that guy, he murdered," you know, and you go, but he did his penance, you know, and now you give him a job. That's the humane thing to do. And people go, "Well, what about the murdered person?" And you go, "Well, of course he got worse.
Yeah,
the guy that lost his life, he's doing worse." But it doesn't mean you can't forgive, or it's impossible to forgive. I also don't feel anyone owes me an apology in public. You know, I think personally that you owe an apology to anybody that you did ill to. You owe an apology to people that your actions hurt in a financial way or an emotional way. But nobody owes me an apology, you know.
So that's where your shock about comedians comes from.
Yeah, because I don't understand why they're so, you know. I guess I just don't understand how there can be no rules, you know. Mm-hmm. If the rules are drawn out and set down, then that's one thing. But you know, I always thought the audience would decide whether you're an objectionable comic or even a good comic, you know. And so Louis went up here at the Comedy Cellar, and the audience let him know. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. But if the audience don't like him, then the club won't book him. I mean, that's how things work. And, you know, just because your heart can break for more than one person at the same time, you know, and a person can do a bad thing, and you can feel sorry for that person while feeling worse for the person that had the bad thing done to them. This is all so self-evident. It's hard for me to unpack, but I wanted to use the word unpack.
Well, you know, we also always think of comedians being 100% free speech and stuff like that. And I don't know whether you followed this at the New Yorker Festival, but they had Steve Bannon booked to come in and do an interview, and all the big comedians said, I'm not going to be there if somebody interviews Steve Bannon. And, you know, and it wasn't a thing of, hey, we're giving an award to Steve Bannon, but it was a chance for somebody from the New Yorker to interview him, and who knows what direction that would have went into. But people like Judd Apatow and I'm trying to think of who, Patton Oswalt I know was in it, and even Jimmy Fallon, they all said, well, we won't perform. We won't come and do the panel. And I'm always surprised by that angle.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel, my brother's a foreign correspondent, and he did a 4-year documentary on neo-Nazis, and he interviewed all the neo-Nazis in the world, from the Ernst Zundel all the way up to David Irving, and he didn't become a Nazi, you know, at all.
Right.
And so I think people go, you know, I certainly wouldn't be a Nazi by hearing this, but Americans, you know, other than me, Americans are just people that will believe whatever they hear, and I think that's nonsense, you know. I think that if there was a Nazi, a person could go watch him because it seems like an entertaining thing, you know. Just the same way you listen to a guy screaming on the corner of the street. You stop and listen to him.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I would agree with you, except for I learned from your show that Adam was in a cult for 3 years. So I guess some people are easily molded.
I just want to stress it was not a Nazi cult.
You know, these cult leaders, they have a good gig going.
Yeah, yeah.
And they all fall for the same trap, which is they start fucking everybody.
Yeah.
And if you just,
not in that cult either.
you know, you have a good life. People show up, they give you all your worldly
everything.
goods. You got all the money, and then you start having sex with the ladies. Then, drunk with power, you're not even gay. You start having sex with the men as well, and you know, and then people go, "Hey, I was watching Fred fuck your wife the other day, and I was thinking, any chance he's not Jesus?" Hey, Dave, say what you will about Elon Musk, but with his new plan to bring people to Mars, nobody is a more creative serial killer. Like my friends, Lori, who is my good friend, her best friend, or not her best friend, but her friend is Elon Musk, who I'm sure you know.
SpaceX.
And I go, this guy should be the most famous guy in the world by far.
Yes.
This guy is the coolest motherfucker.
Yes.
You know, and he just risks everything constantly, and he has so much hope, and he's not a cynic like everybody else.
Yeah.
He wants to colonize Mars, and oh my God, like...
he's a leader in 2 insane fields.
Yes.
Space flight and automotive.
I know.
It's crazy.
And he's making a hydro loop to San Francisco.
It's just like...
And he throws all his money. So, you know, he makes... I think he started with PayPal.
Yeah.
So he makes all his money, boom, throws it all in. So at one... As soon as he fails, everything disintegrates.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
But he doesn't care. He, like he just tells me, he goes, I want to be alive to see a man on Mars. I probably won't be, but it's amazing in this world of everything.
And it's also it's beautiful that those people still exist. That can rise from whatever muck we're all in.
Right.
They can still be no, we're gonna go do this.
Yeah,
they can have
imagination. Instead of going like, hey, the fucking global warming, everything's gonna go to shit. Like,
it's like, let's build a rocket and go to Mars.
He has an
Go.
answer. Yeah.
Insane.
That's awesome. He has an answer instead of the answer being the other guys are wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
This is
awesome.
getting so.
It is.
Yeah.
It's good, though.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
My Uncle Phil. You ever meet my Uncle Phil?
I didn't meet your Uncle Phil, no.
Oh, you didn't? He was...
Yeah, we don't know each other that well. Remember?
That's true.
No,
So,
I've not met your Uncle Phil.
He's a good man, Uncle Phil. So he was telling me, he's just one of these guys that has so many lives pushed into one. He just does so many things, Mm-hmm. And he was telling me, he says, he's a kind of a jack of all trades, you'd call him.
Yeah. That's a good phrase.
Yeah, he's a jack of all trades. So he was telling me, he said, the problem is, you're not really appreciated for any single thing because you're so good at so many things. You understand what I mean?
I hear you.
Yeah. So he said to me one time, he says, Norm, he says, we were just walking through his town, of Monkland, Maine he lives in. And we were just walking through the town. He's an old fella,
Right, one of the old people.
Yeah, he's 80.
Yeah, 80, okay.
80 years young, he says. So he goes, Norm, you see that barn over there, he says to me. I look over, there's a barn. I go, yeah. He goes, I built that barn with my own hands, all by myself. But he goes, do they call me, do they say there's Phil, the barn builder? No, sir, he says. I said, yeah. He goes, look over there, you see that weather balloon? He says, you don't know this about me, Norm. He says, I was one of the first men ever to fly in a weather balloon.
Wow.
He says, but do they say, hey, there goes Phil, the weather balloon pioneer? No. He says, look over there's a bakery that I started. That dirty bastard Bob has it now, but I'm the guy that started that bakery. And I go, all right, easy. And he goes, I started that bakery and I was the best baker, but does anybody go, oh, there goes Phil, the great baker? No, he says, but he says, let me tell you something, Norm. He says, you have sex with one goat. And... He says, people then, they say, there goes Bill, the dirty goat.
Get rid of that. We don't need that microphone anymore, do we? Wow, well, I do want to meet this man someday. He sounds fascinating. We got to talk about this.
Hey, did you see the
filth out
did you
there?
see the Kramer thing?
Oh, I did see that. We could look at that right now if we wanted to, but we don't have to
Makes
look
me
at that.
laugh.
Yeah, does that make you laugh when you see that? You've
The
done.
whole
You've
thing
done.
makes me laugh.
You've done stand up.
I know Michael Richards.
You do, okay.
And he's no racist. He's not a racist. And when you say something like that crazy, it can only be a joke. You know what I mean? He was out of his head element. He didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
But there's no way that a guy who's racist screams it at the top of his lungs. You know what I mean?
Well, certainly, I don't think he was anticipating the fact that a cell phone could have been putting this onto CNN as he was saying it.
No,
I think he was
right.
thinking,
He wouldn't do it on the Craig Ferguson show.
Right. Maybe on here, though. We could maybe to get him on here to recreate that rant. I don't know. Up here in front of the brick wall.
You know what I read today?
Yeah,
in the
what?
Inquirer that Michael Richards was attacked at that pink yogurt place.
Oh, he was attacked?
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing that's sort of scary is, first of all, Mel Gibson has a career that he could hurt. Michael Richards doesn't really.
Wait a minute, Norm. I believe Super Dave was going to tell a joke there. I'm kind of.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was really
No. Well, it seemed to me that he was going to say something because he wasn't being serious. And then you said Super Dave, was there a joke there?
No, Norm. No. I was telling the truth.
Okay.
That I read where he got these punk kids ran at him and slammed his car and everything, tried to turn it over, and he ran away.
Right. Yeah, because I'd be very frightened because, like Mel Gibson, if you make fun of Jewish people, then it's not like you're in danger. But
what?
If you're driving
what did you
around,
you heard him.
What? Oh. Hey, here's the thing, and I'm going to say it again.
This is a very funny thing that happened. Marlon Brando, remember, said that Hollywood ran, the Jewish people ran Hollywood.
That's right.
Yeah, but Marlon Brando.
And then he had to apologize.
Marlon Brando
and they let him work.
Say anything. Marlon Brando lived.
We're listening to Norm MacDonald and Super Dave argue about the Jews.
Marlon Brando lived behind a cardboard cutout.
What?
He lived behind a cardboard cutout. He was 900 pounds. So he could basically say anything.
No, but don't you think Michael Richards would be kind of in peril? And
well, but I don't think he had a career.
No, I'm saying just physically.
Hey, did you cut us off?
I didn't.
Are we just talking?
Yeah, you guys.
We're not even on the radio.
You haven't been on for the last hour, but that's great.
So great. I haven't talked to Norm in about 3 weeks.
Jonathan, don't you think that Michael Richards may have his life sort of in danger?
Yes.
No, I would move to either Tucson or Idaho.
Yeah, or Wisconsin.
Why, is Wisconsin good too?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You mean like just a shack in the woods or something?
Or Boston. He could move to Boston.
Yeah. Stay hard.
Yeah. Wait a second.
No, wait.
You know the joke about B.B. King's wife?
No.
You don't?
No, I don't think so.
B.B.'s having a birthday, so she wants to surprise him. So she goes to the tattoo parlor. She says, put a B on one cheek and a B on the other. So the guy does it. She goes home. B.B. comes home. She opens the door, bends over, drops her shorts, and says, surprise! He said, who's Bob?
Oh, that's great.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. The one and only Super Dave Osborne is joke about
Yeah, sell that to Michael Richards, man.
Why, that's not a racist joke.
Yeah, sure it isn't.
Who's Bob?
Yeah, you know, that's the way you want to broadcasting in stereotypes, 97.9 FM.
Let's do it this way.
Yeah.
Bob Hope's wife goes to a tattoo parlor.
No, but you chose an African American.
Well, but Bob Hope is dead.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And she says, put a B on one cheek and a B on the other. She comes home. Bob Hope comes home. She bends over, pulls her pants down, and he faints.
Now, Bob Hope is dead.
Yeah, I know.
Bring me the body of the great Bob Hope. If he struggles a lifetime of with a rope. If he smells a bit, wash him down with soap. Just bring me the body of the great Bob Hope.
Bring me the body of the great Bob Hope. Another song by Super Dave Osborne and Norm MacDonald. They've collaborated together on a great new CD, Music from Dead People. Want to hear something?
Guy comes home with a duck under his arm.
Oh, shut
Wife
up.
opens the door.
Yeah.
She says, where the hell have you been? He says, this is the pig I've been screwing. She said, it's not a pig, it's a duck. He said, I'm not talking to you.
All right, that's enough. That's enough. Super Dave, Norm MacDonald.
Why did you make her African American in that joke?
Yeah, why did you say? You heard it because you're racist. He said you're racist. He said, why did you make it an African American in your joke? That's what you like to do, don't you? Super Dave.
Hey, don't you feel sorry for Michael Richards, really, though?
All right, go.
If you were Michael Richards and you were in that situation
That
and
word.
you said those things, what would you have done next?
Oh, I would move to Idaho. Ketchum, Idaho.
Okay.
I know, like, for notes, there are people that's what they do for a living. They give notes, for people at home, they give notes for the studio people. Give notes. The network people give notes.
They're required to.
They're required.
That's why a lot of them don't make sense.
That's their job. And when you think about it, what's a note? It's always going to be negative. Like if you just go, I liked everything.
Right.
Then you're an idiot apparently. Even though why wouldn't that be the case sometimes? So when Seinfeld came around, Seinfeld came under the aegis of Rick Ludwin and Late Night because they had him signed to a holding deal in case he replaced Johnny Carson. So Seinfeld's sort of a guy that thinks he should earn his money, and has that Protestant work ethic. And he's like, well, I'm being paid $1 million. I'll make a show, And everybody, in the world, I remember, had always thought, what about a show about being a comic. You know what I
Right.
mean? That was what everybody wanted to do. And then when you thought about it, you're like, no, that's not a good idea at all. So he did that with Larry David as a summer show in the summer, called the Seinfeld Chronicles, and it didn't do well. And then it became a hit, and then Larry David, and both of them, but especially Larry David, is very hard-headed and was willing to walk, you know. Jerry Seinfeld was willing to walk because he was making so much money as a stand-up comedian. You know? He was probably the biggest comedian at the time. So they wouldn't take notes, especially when the show became a hit. So, you know, I'd hear stories from the writers about how, you know, after the dress or whatever, they'd be in Larry's office, and Larry would be putting, you know, a little putting thing, and Jerry would be sitting on the couch, and then the guy would give a note, like, you know, I was thinking if Elaine, you know, didn't act so surprised at that moment in the third act, and then Larry would go, I don't know. I kind of liked it. What about you, Jerry? You go, I liked it. And the guy go, oh, so, and then I had a show at the same time, and I was like, I would pitch them on. I go, well, they do that on the Larry's show. I mean, on Seinfeld, and they go, well, that's Seinfeld, like some different thing, you know. And I thought, well, now after Seinfeld was such a success. Well, now they'll go to that paradigm.
Right.
You know, a great comedian, and then a guy he chooses, and then two guys write the show. Which was also the interesting thing about Seinfeld, is they had a room full of writers, none of which wrote the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the idea was you would go to Jerry or Larry and tell them a story from your life. That was
Right, but it had to be a real story.
real story.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a brilliant idea. And then they would write it, you know, and I remember Spike Ferrestein telling me that he wrote the Soup Nazi episode. Mm-hmm. And the entire story he told them was that there was a guy in New York that was a soup Nazi, and, you know, that was it. You know, that he was a real mean guy. And so he told me, like, years later, he goes, does it ever bother you, like, I won an Emmy for that Soup Nazi episode, even though you wrote the entire thing? And he said, Larry said, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He hadn't forgot it.
I know it's time to close my eyes to old ends, open up to new friends, leave my heart in Berlin, where the tables turning, seeking.
Do you ever look at the fluke that there's... Or do you think that doesn't exist as much? Do you think it's hard work more?
If you really want to be funny and you don't really care what the consequences are, but you want to do this thing that you think is funny, and you have a good sense of that, that's what makes or breaks it. It's like Larry and I together had a very solid idea of what we would not do. But to answer your question, was it a fluke? Yeah, there's always luck.
Yes.
But when you don't care if the people are attractive, you know, if you and I sit in a room and they say, we're going to send in 5 people to play this part, how hard is it for you and I to go, well, that's the funny guy right there?
Right.
How hard is that?
That's very simple.
It's very simple. But because we're comics.
Unfortunately, the radio station launched the day after Princess Diana died, so it was it wasn't quite the sort of fanfare and celebration.
Now
a bit like when Farrah Fawcett died, and then it was usurped by Michael Jackson.
Somebody told me the Queen murdered her.
Yes, she did. Yeah. Yes, that's well known in England. Yeah, I'd like to apologise to the Queen.
Queen Elizabeth II visited Russia this week, becoming the first English monarch to set foot in the Soviet Union. The visit, which will last for 2 weeks, is expected to have absolutely no effect on anything whatsoever. Last week, Queen Elizabeth won £10 in her country's national lottery. However, she has no plans to quit her job as Queen of England. Yeah, I knew. You think I didn't know?
Why is it that you can't... England's not doing well financially.
Right.
can't you get you call them your mates? They're friends.
Yeah.
Everybody else in the world, they call them mates.
Sure.
Get a couple of dozen of your mates and go down to that Buckingham Palace and kill the old bag.
To what end?
Money.
Right.
Little one, you've been away so long, and I need you now more than forever.
Are you an old sea captain? What is this shtick that are you drunk on rum? We were talking outside about why you never guest hosted for some of the. Now I'm beginning to realise, but it's what's weird is you're not even drunk, and yet it's the illusion of it is extraordinary. I'm pleased to see that I've broken from the rule of only having white blokes on the show, which seems to be you only have white men and Roseanne
because it's supposed to be a comedy.
Right.
But
it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be. It's allegedly.